with the same profile and the same finish. I think that's fair to the neighbors. So I would, at that point in time, then I think we can make a good decision at that point in time. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. And excuse me, Mr. Cervantes, is it, since we have someone recusing themselves, is it committee member Rick Chow or committee member Tony Chow who will be a voting member on this issue?
I believe since we still do have a quorum, that only the remaining 4 members vote.
Oh, okay. So then it's that's fine. So committee member Tony Chow, would you like to just give a comment?
No, just briefly, I think we're all kind of on the same page. It's really just dealing with the situation at hand now with this already being visible. It's really just going to be up to the owner to make a decision or to do the extra legwork to try to get these vents kind of looked at again by the city.
Okay, thank you. So my comments echo nearly all of the comments of the other committee members. It sounds like we have quite a consensus of concern about this particular material to begin with. For me, this material, in the brochure, it looked, reasonable for kind of an industrial building or an industrial area. That looks like it would be a very practical solution to hiding equipment that is necessary and, has to be there. I think that anywhere in our city, this equipment is highly questionable. And I believe that in this particular location, it is more than just questionable. The reason I say that is because this building is highly visible to the residential neighborhood in the back. And because of that, we have another layer of sensitivity that needs to be considered to the neighbors. Not every building on Huntington Drive is visible to neighbors behind, but this one most certainly is. It's not just visible to the neighbors, 2 or 3 houses down, but it's kind of, as you go down Ridgeway, it's highly visible to anybody who's driving down that street. On top of that, as was previously mentioned, this building is a really special building. It's built by an extremely famous architect, and this architect's Pereira's main head architect was also arguably the most famous Chinese American architect in certainly in Los Angeles. And that's a very special thing. And so when we talk about adding a structure that's going to be very visible, that's going to be part of the massing, it's going to add and change some of the massing and visibility of this building and how it looks, this doesn't make sense to me. It's just not a solution. I recognize the problem. And if this was a solution that solved the problem and didn't impact the look and feel of this very special building, I might consider it. But as one of my fellow committee members mentioned, the problem is almost worse than the existing. The solution is almost worse than the existing problem. And so this doesn't make sense to me. The materials also, as mentioned, is not tested, not tried and tested. We haven't seen it around. I do think that October letter is not very straightforward. It seems to kind of imply, or at least can be confusing. Certainly it seems confusing. I'm also really concerned that the architect seems to be kind of not sure whether they're going to go with a particular material, but that's really secondary. It just kind of tells me that the applicants have not come into this necessarily very prepared. I mean, if we don't know for sure what is going to be approved or denied, then what are we doing here? I mean, we need to know with certainty what's in front of us. But even if we did, it's just not there, louvered or not, it's just not there for me at all. And at this point, I don't see this being scaled back. I think the applicants need to go back to the drawing board. They need to perhaps take this up with their contractor the original permit did specify that it needs to not be visible to the neighbors. And so I think it's clear that this needs to, the owner needs to find a different solution. So for me, I would be proposing a denial to this application because I don't see this, if this is continued, I don't see this like getting better in terms of being scaled back or a different material or a different color or anything like that. So for me, that this is just, this would be a denial from my perspective. But I will entertain motions right now from committee members. And if there are no motions, I would make a motion to, I would move to deny the project.
I'll second.
Could we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Committee Member McKay,
Yes.
Committee Member Chang,
No.
Vice Chair Wong,
No.
and Chair Batnich.
Yes.
Maybe staff member Choi can clarify, but if we have a split vote, I don't know if that invokes an alternate vote at this point. I'm not quite sure what happens in a split vote.
Actually, in this situation, the motion failed. Actually, it didn't fail. We do need another motion
Okay.
in order to get a majority favor.
So the motion failed because it tied, and if it's tied, then it fails.
Correct. It's
Okay.
not.
There has to be another motion, apparently.
Okay, so may I would like to hear other motions from, another motion from committee members.
Yeah, let me give it a charge here. Because of, we still got an outstanding issue on the table. I did make a couple of suggestions for the applicant and the architect to look into other solutions, meaning that they may have to, one of them will be relocating the unit, one of them will be maybe exchanging a couple of units and do the homework of finding exactly what triggers this potential problem. So I don't see it yet. I don't think they have done their diligence to give us that solution. So I would like to allow them the opportunity to look into that and come back with it. So I like to make a motion to continue the matter until such time when they find a acceptable solution to the neighbors.
Committee member Chang, I just want to ask for a clarification of your motion. The examples you gave, which would be to look into relocating those units and finding another solution. Those, from what I understood from you, would not, I don't think would be under the design review committee's purview. I mean, if I understand correctly, but perhaps I'm wrong. Can you clarify that?
If they were able to find a solution, find other solution,
A design
need-
solution.
design solution that would not trigger the requirement to even come back, then maybe there may not even be a need. However, if they have to do a combination of both, meaning that by relocating certain unit, maybe there's only one unit that they really couldn't relocate and need a small screen to do that, we may be dealing with a 25-foot and it's only 4-foot high wall and screen wall and knowing exactly what it may be. That may be a solution. I don't think the architect and the applicant have done their due diligence to truly try to find the best solution yet. But the problem remains. If we just denied it, they're going to come back with something anyway. I just try to save some time, and so at least the neighbors, the concerned neighbors, are aware where we are. We could kill it, but then the problem didn't go away. Just that our agenda to get bigger and bigger and longer and longer.
Or perhaps the problem wouldn't go away, but it would be addressed in a way that wouldn't involve the design review committee.
possibly, if the committee members feel that we don't want to deal with something like this. But it's unfortunately, it is a design concern. That's why it was brought to us.
Okay,
It's not a
so-
mechanical concern. So,
Thanks for the clarification. Go ahead with your,
so I make a motion to continue it to a date uncertain, that when the applicant is ready to come back with a workable solution to staff and to the neighbors before it come back to us. Or they may never come back to us. If they don't come back, then the case just closed. In other words, if they never need to do it, they can relocate everything to the center. It will not be seen. Then maybe it works. I'm still puzzled about why they need a 3-foot platform under the condenser. Usually that's not the case, unless they have to build another plan number, whatever it may be. I don't know what the solution. So the suggestion of them to work with their mechanical engineer to come up with something to meet that requirement. That was one.
okay, is there a second for the motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, could we have roll call?
Sure. Committee Member McKay,
Yes.
Committee Member Chang,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wong,
Yes.
and Chair Batnich.
No.
Okay. Motion carries. Just one item of note before we close this item. The applicant would have to waive their Permit Streamlining Act requirement, as the required action date is December 31st. The next available meeting will be January 1st, or excuse me, January 6th of next year. So we would have to have the applicant waive their Permit Streamlining Act.
We'll waive.
Thank you.
Okay. So we now move on to the next agenda item, which is design review case number DRC 20-422277 Huntington Drive. Can we have the staff report, please?
Sure. Design review case number DRC 20-42 is for 2277 Huntington Drive. Excuse me, actually, is Committee Member Lakon aware that we have gone to a new item, or is she also recusing herself from this?
All right, Ms. Choi, were you able to contact Committee Member Lakon?
Yes, I believe committee member Lakon is back. If we can ask her to confirm.
Oh, there she is. Okay,
Well,
thank you.
The reason I asked was because this project is actually right next door to the previous one, so I wasn't sure if there was any issue with recusals for this item as well.
Oh, Committee Member Lakon, is this on your sheet? Is this within your radius of 500 feet? We can't hear you.
The space is not on the map.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'll continue. This request is to install, it's a continued request to install an illuminated wall sign for a new restaurant known as Chicken Terria. At the first design review meeting, the DRC had concerns over the size and colors of the design, as well as the lighting. The applicant has since made changes to their proposal. The new proposal reduces the size of the sign from 16.64 square feet to 14.74 square feet, or a total of 11.4%. The color of the lettering for the proposed sign is also being changed from 2 colors. Previously, the letters were brown and yellow, and that's being changed to a single black color. That concludes staff's presentation. The staff has no objections.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions that committee members have for the staff?
I have a question. What is staff's understanding of the lighting? Is it backlit? What is the?
My understanding is that it's internally illuminated. I do believe that the applicant has additional information about the lighting that he can provide. But my understanding is that it is still being internally illuminated from within the channel.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions? Okay, seeing none, would the applicant like to say a few words, just updating us on what's changed about this since the last time we were here to discuss this?
Yes, hi, let's see, the changes that came, that we
Could you
made.
please state your name and address?
Oh, I'm sorry. Chris Kim, from Cosine Inc. Ad- Address 821 South Vermont Avenue, Los Angeles, California, 90005, and I'm the sign contractor.
Okay, is it possible for you to put your video on?
Yeah, I still haven't got a video for it. I still didn't get my webcam.
Okay, thank you, go ahead.
So the changes was, from the last meeting, it was just, it just seemed like, we were just we constantly, compared to the UPS store next door. So what we did was we reduced the logo size to match the UPS's shield. And then, there was a color, there was a color issue, so we tried to keep it consistent, and we kept it black, instead of the brown and yellow. And what it is this time is, like what Mr. Chang told me last time, was for the change of color. So it's black during the day, and it's white. I'm sorry, yeah, black during the day, white at night. And I think that was it.
Okay, are there any questions for the applicant from committee members?
I have a question. What does the applicant mean by black during the day, white at night? What is the lighting going to be? How is this going to be lit?
So the illumination is white, that's inside the channel letter, and then it's a white light. So during the day, it's a dual color material where it's perforated, and then so when the light's not on, it'll be black. When the light turns on, it'll bleed through the vinyl, and they'll turn white.
I have a question. Can you just speak to the amount of illumination both during the day and during the evening?
The amount of illumination during the day, there will be no illumination during the day.
Okay, in the whenever it is illuminated, when
Mhm.
how much light is it by whatever measure you use for that, whether it be lumens or whatever,
Oh, lumens. Hold on.
or whatever measure you use for this kind of thing?
I'm just gonna be going based off the LED types we use.
Okay.
Hold on one second.
Maybe while you're looking at that, I can also ask you, will it, you know, I recognize that this is a business that needs to have some evening illumination because of that they will be open during the evening, I would imagine.
Yes.
Or at least there's a possibility that they may be open during the evening at some point. And so I'd just like to ask, but you know, after 9 o'clock or something like that, when they'd be closed, or 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, would the lighting, would the sign be turned off?
Yeah, I relayed the information to the client, and he agreed.
Okay, so can we, so my question is really, is there a timer to ensure that? Because that
I mean,
often.
what do you decide? So I relayed to him saying that, from the committee meeting, that we were going, that he would need to turn off his sign when he closes.
Okay, is it possible to put a timer on your signs
Yes,
so that it will automatically turn off? My understanding is that that is quite common. Is that a possibility?
yes,
Okay,
that is possible,
Okay.
yes.
okay, thank you. Are there any other questions from committee members of the applicant?
Yes, I have a couple questions. Maybe you already explained, but let me just clarify it one more time. So the black lettering during daytime, it looks dark or black, but at nighttime, when it's illuminated within, the illumination is bright enough that it will look white. Is that how it works?
Correct.
Okay. Then the second question is that the logo itself, is that illuminated or that it's just white sticker?
So it is illuminated. And then the brown and the orange will be illuminated, and the white will be illuminated at night.
I'm only talking about the logo, just like the
You're talking about the chicken, right?
yes, the rooster.
Yes, yeah. So the whole thing will be illuminated.
Okay.
Right. Other questions from committee members? Okay, seeing none, we'll now go
So,
to.
Raymond, you are mute, so
excuse
you
me.
have to unmute yourself, Raymond.
Sorry, yeah, sorry, I just want to clarify one more thing for maybe some of the members. 3M makes some kind of perforated vinyl, and that vinyl during the daytime, if it's black, it shows black. So when you look at the sign during the day, it looks black. But because of the perforation, at nighttime when the sign is lit up, only the white light comes through. So you don't see any black at all. The sign, the word chicken terrier will become white. So that's being used quite commonly, and it's something that's a lot better than those color signs. So that's one of the suggestions that I mentioned the last time, and I think they decided to go forward with that, and that hopefully answer Member McKay's question. It's commonly used. It's being used a lot of commercial and institution signs where they only want something very simple, white light at night, and that's how they do it. So that's that. And also the timer, it's easy. I think we need to identify maybe the time that the sign should come off 1 hour after the business closes. So if they close at 9, then at 10 o'clock the sign will be off, and that will help. And I'm sure we can make that one of the conditions. So I think that will probably be the better solution.
I have just a question. Thank you, Committee Member Ching. May I ask a question?
Sure, please.
Yes, please.
So do we understand that this is a fluorescent white or is it a soft white?
I think we can ask Mr. Kim. Mr. Kim can, yeah.
The color temperature is 4000 K, so it's just your typical white, just pure white.
4000 is quite cold, so cool color. So it's white. It's not like a yellowish white. It's kind of white.
It's like photo paper white, just white.
Okay, other questions? Okay, seeing none, we will now move on to the public comment portion. Are there any members of the public here to speak for, against, or about the project? Oh wait, I see a committee member wanting to.
I'm going to recuse myself. I'm going to.
Oh, okay, thank you, Committee Member Lakon. So are there any members of the public here to speak for, against, or about the project? Okay, seeing none, we will now move on to committee member discussion. Committee Member Cheng.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate the applicant reduce the size, realign the lettering location, and work on the size of the logo to work with the UPS signage, and come in with a simple color during the day and acceptable color during the night. So and also I would accept that 1 hour after the business closes, then the light, but the timer will turn off the light. So that I can accept.
Okay, committee member Wong.
Thank you. I agree with everything Committee Member Chan has said. I don't want to repeat that. And I would be able to support it with the condition that a timer be installed and operate in a way consistent with the business practices along Huntington Drive after the business is closed, meaning that there can be about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour of light on, and that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee member McKay?
Thank you. I'm a little bit concerned about the answers on the questions about the lighting from the applicant are not maybe definitive, but I think I could support this with the new changes, which I appreciate. But again, only with the timer. It should not be on at all if the business is closed, if the business is not in operation. And I understand there will be no lighting during the day because the lighting, the signs on either end are, and also at the corner at Starbucks are very subtle backlit signage. So there should be no lighting during the day, and there needs to be the agreement on the timer.
Okay, thank you. Committee member Rick Cho?
I pretty much in agreement with all the other committee members' comments. So other than that, I don't really have any further suggestions.
Okay, thank you. As far as my comments, I think the applicant has scaled it down to a very appropriate size now that looks, is a lot more compatible with the other signs on that kind of block or that half block. And I appreciate the solution that of having it black during the day and white in the evening. And I think that's great. I would agree to this today. I could support this today as long as a timer is made a condition, and that also and that as committee member Chang suggested, that a condition be that the timer would be set to turn off the sign 1 hour after the close of business, and also that the other condition would be that there would be no lighting during the day, as committee member McKay suggested. So with that, can I hear a motion? Do we have a motion?
Yes. Let me give it a try. I like to make a motion to approve design review case number DRC 20-42 2277 Huntington Drive for the signage as discussed, and with one additional condition that the signage will be on timer and it will be automatically turned off 1 hour after business close. So that's my motion.
And is there also a condition for no lighting during the during the daytime hours?
That's right.
Okay.
No lighting during the daytime hours.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second that. And can we have a roll call?
Sure. Committee member McKay,
Yes.
Committee member Chang,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wong,
Yes.
and Chair Batner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
We now
you all
move.
so much.
Yeah, thank you. So we now move on to design review, our next item on the agenda, which is design review case number DRC 20-32, 1720 Las Flores Avenue. And could we have the staff report, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is the second hearing for the request to install a roofing material that is not on the city's material list for a home that is currently improved with a natural wood shake material. At the prior hearing on October 7th, the committee considered this application for a certain team product. The committee was concerned with the proposed color, which was H bark. Some committee member advised that the color may be too bright for the structure and for the neighborhood. And the committee further recommended that the homeowner consider the triple laminated, the TL product, to provide dimensional appearance for the roofing product. So the homeowner has considered the DRC's suggestion and is now requesting approval for the CertainTeam Presidential Chic TL products in the color of country gray, which is the same color that is found on the same block. So staff is able to support this request, and the homeowner is available should the committee has further question for this application. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions that committee members would like to ask of staff? Okay, seeing none, is the applicant here? And I don't know if the applicant needs to say anything, but if the applicant would like to say something, please go right ahead.
Richard Chang at 1720 Los Floor. I don't really have anything to say.
That's okay. You don't necessarily need to. I would imagine that there isn't, that there's already perhaps a lot of clarity on this application already, but I have to give you the chance to say something if you'd like. Okay, so are there any questions that committee members have of the applicant? Okay, it looks like no. Are there any members of the public here to speak for, against, or about this project? I don't see any. So we will move on to committee member discussion. Could we have committee member Wong?
Thank you. I just want
Vice
to.
Chair Wong.
It's okay. I want to thank the applicant for being attentive to the committee discussion from the previous session and took in the recommendation. I think is a good product, a good color. And the fact that there is 13 approval without any objection, just one no comment is a strong testimony that the neighborhood is okay with that. So I see the pretty straightforward, supportable case. Thank you.
Okay, committee member Chang.
I agree with the comments. Thank you.
Okay, committee member Lakon.
I agree with my fellow commissioners, and I can support the project.
Okay, and committee member McKay.
I have no additional comments. I agree with my fellow committee members.
Yeah, and I also have nothing more to say. This is, I think in this case, we this is quite routine, and we just wanted to make sure that the applicant was agreeable to the suggestions. So thank you for your patience in this process. The city is kind of in the midst of changing its materials list and investigating new materials to use, and some applicants are kind of stuck in the middle of that process. So thank you very much for your patience. Okay, I will ask for a motion from committee members.
I'll then motion to approve DRC case number 20-32 at 1720 Las Flores Avenue.
I'll second that.
Okay.
And can we have roll call?
Sure. Committee member Lakon,
Yes.
committee member McKay,
Yes.
committee member Chang,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wong,
Yes.
and Chair Batnich.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me. We will now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is design review case number DRC 20-49, 1512 Kensington Road. Staff, could we have your report, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is another roof project. This project was in front of the committee again on October 7th. At that time, the committee was actually split on its deliberation of this item. Some committee member were okay with the proposed product and color. Others were concerned with the artificial appearance of the product and additionally the proposed color. The applicant is requesting the committee to reconsider the proposed product, which is a teal core steel shake product, a metal roof. However, this time she is proposing to use a color that is that has been installed in the city as provided in the report, and the color is weatherwood. Staff is able to support this request, understanding that the resulting appearance of the roof will be similar to other installation in the city. And the applicant would like to provide further explanation to the committee as to her request. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff from the committee members? Okay, seeing none. Oh, yes, please go ahead.
And it might have been for the applicant, but on the application, is it for a specific teal core shake product? Is it this Craftsman or the CF? Was that specified in the report?
It is not specified in the staff report. I apologize, but it would be for the Craftsman shake product that is noted in the brochure attached to the report.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions to ask staff? Okay, seeing none. Is the applicant here or applicant's representative here to speak a little bit about the project?
Hi, my name is Masumi Tai. I'm 1512 Kensington Road. As 28-year citizens of San Marino, we do understand the importance of maintaining the beauty and established characters of our neighborhood. And we listened to your comments from the last hearing, and we have changed our selection of color to weatherwood, which is a soft earth tone to better blend in with roofs on adjacent homes and to complement our ranch style home. And we understand there is a concern with the roof of our immediate north neighbor using the same teal core product, being rigid and without depth with the wide front horizontal lines. And I submitted the picture of our roof and then our immediate north neighbor's roof. And there is a big difference in the roof structure. And we have a hip roof. If you can take a look at our roof, and then we have a hip roof with multiple slopes that will break up the horizontal roof lines. The end result will be different since the shape and the slopes of our roof is different from our north neighbor. Another one, the stone-coated steel roof system is the most durable material on the market. I think you all know. And it's walkable, fire safe, earthquake safe, lightweight, unlike heavyweight slate roof. It doesn't crack, and the heat resistance, and it's even fiberglass roofing material might split after prolonged sun exposure. That means our roof will remain beautiful for a long time without the damaged tiles taking away from its appearance. And this is actually an advantage to preserve the aesthetic beauty of our San Marino city. Actually, as aesthetics are a very subjective matter, it is a personal opinion. In fact, our north neighbor turned in an endorsement for our project and testified that numerous neighbors have complimented on the beauty of his teal core roof. And unfortunately, he couldn't join because he is traveling to East Coast. And subjectively speaking, my view of Cedar Light is aesthetically artificial and not organic looking. And our proposal is a calm, muted, dark brown color and not a vivid color. And then the planning department staff and the DRC had recommended and approved this material in the weatherwood color in other parts of San Marino City. And I also submitted the several photos of roofs with teal core in Weatherwood. So if you take a look at those photos, in my opinion, they all look very beautiful and then compatible with their neighborhoods. I took those pictures 2 weeks ago, and I was very impressed with the beauty of this material. So we hope the DLC will remain open-minded to the benefit and the durability and the beauty of this material. And then finally, the Tilka product in Weatherwood was made specifically to resemble the uneven look of traditional wood shakes, so which we really trust will blend in well in our neighborhood. That's all. Thank you for listening to my statement.
Thank you. Are there any questions that committee members would like to ask of the applicant? Okay, seeing
I have a
now,
question.
yes, go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, Chair. I have a question for the applicant. Were you here at the last meeting when you presented?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was here, and I listened to all the opinion, and then
Great.
I have to go to see those actual roof, and I was very impressed. As I said, I was very impressed the beauty of the product. And
Okay,
then
I'm sure you are, and I'm sure you think it's a great product. I just want to see if you were here, if you have considered the majority comments from the members in the last meeting, because my notes showing that the majority comments was really not on the quality of the roofing material, rather the look, the striking horizontal lines. That was, I think, one of the determining matters. Just want to confirm with you that you did get that information before you present this proposal again.
yes, that's why I took a picture of our roof and then North Neighbor's roof, and then the structure is completely different because our neighbor's roof is gable roof, so it's very single. So it does, it doesn't emphasize the straight line, horizontal line, but ours are like a hip roof, and then it's like a break that does a straight line.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions of the applicant? Okay, seeing none, we will now move on to public comment. Are there any members of the public here to speak for, against, or about the project?
Yes, I am.
Okay, could you give a brief comment?
Sure. My name is Michael Johnson. I live at 1300 Bellhaven Road here in San Marino, and I'm kind of interested in roofs. First comment is I've looked at all the other roofs that were recommended we look at for the application today. That's with no lender fees or points called net. And they looked good to me. They looked better than in some cases, better than the other roofs around it. I want to mention, I've talked to real estate brokers about the effect of the type of roof on the value of a house. And they indicate that as long as the roof is in good shape, it doesn't look like it's going to need to be replaced for a time. When selling a house, the roof is irrelevant, does not affect the market value. In other words, there's good evidence of the fact that if you've got a reasonably decent roof and it's good shape, it doesn't affect market value. It seems to me says that many types of roof are okay. Let's see, they mentioned that Tilcor is a very competitive product and it should be part of San Marino. It has been installed in over 80 countries worldwide. And to have, effectively now, we have a monopoly by, I think it's Cedar Light, the tile product. And if you look, you see the vast majority of new roofs are tile product. And most people would choose the only one that can be installed without coming before the design review committee. And that's this, I believe it's a Cedar Light. And that should not be, we should not have a monopoly in one situation. I've realized people can come before the design review and get their other product approved, but I think really people would rather have their teeth pulled than come before the DRC. It's not a lot of fun. I do mention too that we're having the offing, at least one item of the solar panels. Solar panels are being installed a little bit more and more. It's going slowly now, but our governor has let us know, mentioned that we're going to have to do something about generating electricity because we are at we really don't have enough now for peaks and may have blackout. And with the addition of electric cars and so forth over time, we're going to have to add more non-fossil fuel type sources of energy. And one of those is solar panels. And solar panels on a roof essentially change the whole character of the project. So whatever roof is approved, it may not last. I don't know if our applicant has any ideas about solar panels, but I think some of her neighbors do. I went by the property today. And in other words, I think the product does not affect the market value of the property. The product's a good product. Horizontal lines don't bother me. I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I kind of look at the total effect, and it doesn't bother me that lines are horizontal. Some of the tiles and some of the old roofs, with wood, they squiggle a lot, but that's not, I don't think, essential to the whole matter. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other members of the public here to speak for, against, or about the project? Okay, seeing none, we will now move on to committee member discussion. Committee member McKay.
Thank you. I have a real issue because the applicant comes before us seeking to use a material and color that's not on the city's pre-approved list, but that has been approved multiple times by the city. And, you know, it puts the committee in a very difficult position because, you know, with the city not making the changes to the approved items, the approved materials, approved colors, every single variation has to be brought before the committee. And, you know, staff has provided me with information that on Winston, this was installed in February 2016. On Roanoke, it was, and that was DRC 1594. Roanoke, it was installed in March 2016, DRC 1593. January 2017, it was installed on Waverly. And I've gone by these properties. I looked at Waverly again today, DRC 1699. And in September 2018, it was installed on Somerset, DRC 1826. And staff has confirmed that those were approved and that they were actually installed. So that's what I want to say. I feel that the committee is being put in a very difficult position. If we deny it, we are inconsistent with what's already been approved in several places in the city. And if we approve it, once again, we're approving a variation of what's on the pre-approved list. And it's something that needs to be addressed. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Committee member Chang.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe I can give a little bit history of how this roof, how they got into the pre-approved list, why either this body or the planning commission had approved certain type of roof before. I think there's been many years of discussion among members and commissioners about encouraging more choices for our neighbors. Once the city endorse or pre-approve a product, we have to be very careful because we want to make sure that fits in majority of the homes. Homes of different style may look good on one, but they may not look good on the other. However, once become a pre-approved list, it's an automatic thing. They go to the counter, pay the fee, they're done. So if that roof does not fit into a lot of different style, we may get ourselves in a lot of trouble because it's pipeline pre-approved. We've been kind of using some of those addresses that like Winston, Waverly, and Devonport, all of those as test cases. I think over the years we want to know if the product really lasts 4 or 5 years. How would they hold up? How would it look on certain roof slope? Some would look better. Like in this case, I think a hip roof would look much better on this product than a gable roof. And the steeper the roof, it looks a little bit better because you can see more profile of the panel rather than just seeing the edge of it. So we are hoping to increase the pre-approved list to help our citizens. In the big picture, sustainability and resiliency is going to be the way of the future for architecture. I think we really need to look at products that are renewable and that can be less wasteful. This particular product tends to be the correct product. I hope that eventually Tilcor can come up with maybe a better profile that can give some variation on the horizontal line, maybe in some different thickness that you can give some a real look than what they are now. They can only survive if there is enough product being sold and installed and become successful, then they can come back with that. So we are hoping to see some better products in the future. I think with that said, I think it is a product that I can endorse, and I think we should just try to pick the right design of the building that can work with this product and give more choice than the whole city of that one product that we've been using for many years. So that's my comment.
Okay, thank you. Committee member Lakon? Oh, we can't hear you. Now wait.
Please unmute yourself.
Unmute.
Yes, now we can hear you. Can you start over, please?
I want to thank the applicant for taking our suggestions into consideration. And today, I think I could support the project. I agree with committee member McKay, and I think this is a very difficult situation. Not that difficult, but I would like the list, like to see more options for residents trying to replace wood shake. And I agree with the roof style being hipped and actually a little bit lower sloped. I think that it will present differently than the one on the gable next door to you. So I hope to see other options in the future, and today I could support the project.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Wong.
I also share the sentiment that the applicant has done a lot of research work in helping the committee and the community to understand the merit of this product. And indeed, these examples were cases in 2015, 2016, and 2018, and done shortly thereafter. And they serve as good examples as to the decision made by the committee then, which is in the committee's discretion to look at materials not in the list, and that is the purpose, one of the purposes of this committee, even though it is tedious, but it is why we are here to serve the community. And I have to say that the applicant's roof is a hipped roof with variation in shapes and size, and that does break the monotonous of a typical steel core product. And this color weatherwood is way better than the previous color proposed. And given what I was able to see myself on other projects that has been tested for a few years without negative comments and with other good reasons, I see ground to support this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee member Rick Chow.
I also very much echo all the comments so far. I mean, aesthetically speaking, I'm really not a huge fan of this particular Tilcor line, Craftsman. Especially in the previous proposed color, it really accentuates the horizontal line. I think that the north neighbor actually is a perfect sample for that. However, again, I appreciate the effort, thinking different alternatives, trying to work with, take our comments and work with it. I do think this weatherwood color from my visits of other properties, I think for this particular property, it should work. It should bring back a little bit of that organic brown tone, softer look. So also, like the other members, I can also support this.
Okay, thank you. So I think I have more reservations than what have been expressed from my fellow committee members. I do agree that this looks better on a hipped roof, and I do agree that those horizontal lines are broken up a little bit better on your property than the one near you. I also agree that this is a much better color. That doesn't mean though that I still can't, it's still too uniform. It's still very fake looking to me. Like I look at that house and I just say, wow, super fake roof. Whereas when I look at other homes with different materials, it doesn't stand out to me that much. So I can't get around the aesthetics. I don't think it looks, in the words of Committee Member Chow, I think a really good way of describing it is like, it doesn't look organic to me. And I know that all of these, imitation, or let's say all these wood shake alternatives all look, less real than real wood shake, but this looks less real than I would like. So for me, this is a no, but it looks like I'm outnumbered by my fellow committee members, and I would like to express the things that I do think that this is better on, and I hope that I believe that there's a committee working on roofing material, new roofing materials, and I think that if this would ever become, part of any sort of list, it should be for a hipped roof. It should be for a very low slope, for certainly a sort of hipped roof. I kind of disagree on the idea that it looks better on a steep pitch, but I kind of see what Committee Member Chang was trying to express. And certainly this is a better color, so I would like that to be noted as well. So I think that this was productive, and although I will not be able to support this, I appreciate that this has been productive in some ways. So with that, is there a motion?
Can I ask one more? And there was a condition, the staff recommended a condition to install low profile ridge tiles. Is that something that we have to condition when we make a motion?
Yes, I believe that it's important that we, from what I understand, it's important that we specify that condition in any motion that would be to approve this.
Good, okay.
So is there a motion?
Oh, I'll make a motion.
Make it go ahead.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve design review case DRC 20-49, Tilcor Craftsman Shake roof material with the condition that it will be installed with low profile ridge tiles,
The weatherwood color.
the weatherwood color.
I second the motion.
do we have a second?
I do make a second.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Committee Member Lakon,
Yes.
Committee Member McKay,
Yes.
Committee Member Chang,
Yes,
Vice Chair Wong,
Yes.
and Chair Batnich.
Yes, no, excuse me, no.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm just getting my agenda open. Okay. Excuse me, 1 second. The brochure, okay, here we go. Okay, we now move on to the next item on our agenda, which is design review case number DRC 19-52, 1620 Rubio Drive. Could we have the staff report, please?
Sure. Design review case number DRC 19-52 is a proposal for a first and second story addition at an existing single story home, as well as exterior modifications located at 1620 Rubio Drive. The proposed first floor addition is a 763 square foot extension of the existing family room and master bedroom. The new second story addition will measure 617 square feet and feature 2 additional bedrooms. The additions will be located at the rear of the home on the northwest side of the property. Exterior modifications also include the removal of wood shake found along the front of the house and replacement with stucco and a sand finish, the installation of wood shutters, new 6-inch by 6-inch wood post at the entry porch, and new natural redwood siding with an overlapping 8-inch exposure. The project description in the staff report does mention a 214 square foot roof deck. That is actually not part of the project. That was included in error. So I apologize for that. Staff has no objections to this project and can make the findings. And that concludes the presentation.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from committee members to staff?
Yes, I have a question. I understood that this was being continued to December 2 due to a noticing error. Is that not correct?
There was an update following a discussion with the community development director stating that the notice had been done adequately. However, the neighbors that were believed to have not been noticed were also noticed in addition to the original notices that were sent out, to which there were no objections.
Okay, thank you.
And apologies for that error as well.
Okay, any other questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, is the applicant present and would the applicant like to speak a little bit about this project?
Yes, good evening. My name is Anthony and my parents are the homeowners of 1620 Rubio. So I've turned on my webcam, but I've been having some problems with it lately. I don't think the video is going through, is it? So I apologize for that. But I do have a brief PowerPoint presentation that describes our thought process behind the design and highlights our compatibility with the neighborhood. I would like to share my screen. Can you guys see my presentation?
Yes, I see it now.
Okay. All right, so with this PowerPoint, I would like to highlight our compatibility in terms of the style, the massing, and also how we try to minimize any privacy concerns. So I'd like to start off by thanking the Design Review Committee and the city staff for reviewing our remodeling plans during these difficult times. As Marlon mentioned, we are proposing to remodel the existing first floor and extend the rear corner of the property, which is shaded in blue. In doing so, we maintain the existing front and side yard setbacks. Furthermore, this addition to the rear minimizes the visual impact from the street level. In designing the second floor, we are also very sensitive about ensuring the privacy of our neighbors. For example, both bedroom windows are off-centered in each room so that the view is more focused towards our own backyard and not that of our neighbors. The bedrooms are also further set back into the building by 5 feet 8 inches on the left and 10 feet 4 inches on the right, so they're further away from the immediate neighbors. And finally, the 2 windows facing our immediate neighbors are both frosted bathroom windows. In the current drawings, bedroom 2 and 3 do not have closets. However, we do intend to add closets, and they will be located in the shaded blue regions. These are minor changes that are only affecting the interior layout, which won't have any effect on the exterior. Next, I want to address the compatibility of our home with our legal neighborhood. So our neighborhood consists of many architectural styles, such as colonial, Tudor, and Spanish styles. These homes all have cross-gable roofs and utilize materials such as stucco and natural wood beams. The color tone comprises of a light off-white or earth tone colors accented with darker shades of brown, blue, or black. And among the 14 homes in our legal neighborhood, 10 of them are 2-story homes, while only 4 of them are single-story. Thus, our neighborhood consists predominantly of 2-story homes. Other homes in our legal neighborhood include various traditional and ranch-style homes that utilize similar stucco and natural wood materials in their facade. In addition, 4 of these homes also have exterior window shutters. We would like to propose a Cape Cod style home where the exterior facade consists of sand finished stucco and natural redwood siding and shutters. To provide contrast to the off-white wood sidings, and the shutters will be a darker blue color, and the roof will be composed of cedar light shingles in the heartwood color. We aim to design a home that blends in with our legal neighborhood by utilizing consistent materials, colors, and architectural styles. We read and appreciate staff's support of our proposed plans, and we wholeheartedly agree with their 2 recommendations. First, to remove the single side light that is adjacent to the front door that's shaded in orange. And second, to add grids to the front bay window, which is highlighted in blue. I also noticed that the project description mentioned about a 214 square foot roof deck, and we do not plan to add any roof decks, so please disregard that part. We have significant support from our neighbors. Specifically, 8 of them support our proposed plans. However, there is one neighbor who objected, and they're located across the street and diagonal from our home. This neighbor who objected resides at 1595 Rubio. They circled the option, I object because the proposed changes are not aesthetically compatible in their present form with my property. And Marlon kindly informed us regarding this objection last Thursday. And immediately we wrote a brief note and dropped it off in their mailbox, where we asked them to contact us by phone or email so that we can understand and address their concerns. However, we have not heard back from them yet. I believe that both of our homes have many similar characteristics that are aesthetically compatible with each other. For example, both properties are 2-story traditional homes with similar color and material choices, and also have similar cross-gable roof structures. And next, I would like to address the overall massing of our home, which we are also very sensitive about. So in order to minimize the overall massing, we limited our first floor plate height to be 8 foot 2 inches, and which is the same as the existing home. We also limited the second floor plate height to just a mere 8 feet. Thus, the total building height is just 22 feet and 4 inches. As a result, when we compare our home to our immediate next door neighbors, the overall massing and size is quite consistent and similar. From the street view, we can also see that after we install the story poles, we are just incrementally taller than our existing home, and the abundance of mature trees in our front yard hides the massing of our proposed home. And in regards to trees, we also intend to preserve all 12 trees that are on our lot. We appreciate the shade that it provides and the park-like feeling that we have in our neighborhood. So in summary, I believe that our proposed home is compatible with the architectural styles of our neighborhood. we seek to utilize consistent colors and materials that match our neighbor's home. And our second floor addition is sensitive to the privacy of our neighbors and the overall massing of the structure. And finally, we strive to blend into our neighborhood and maintain a park-like atmosphere by preserving all of our existing trees. So thank you for your time and consideration for our proposed home. If you have any questions, I can answer them now.
Okay, thank you. Are there any committee members who would like to ask questions of the applicant or applicant's representative?
I do.
Okay, please, go ahead.
Applicant talks about preserving all the trees inside the property, but as we can see from the photos and this rendering in front of us, actually the two proposed dormer windows are very near to the big mature ginkgo trees right in front of the house. And I just wonder how that actually could impair your own view and the overall effect of the dormer windows. Has there been any thoughts between the homeowner and or the architect?
Yes, so in regards to the trees, first of all, those two dormer windows are not connected to the second floor bedrooms. So in terms of providing any blocking of the view, that won't be an issue. And second of all, we have maintained the front facade at the exact location. So there will be no major structural or foundational changes that will occur during construction. As a result, those trees can be preserved as is. And we like the shade, and the shade won't block any of the window views since those are not connected to the rooms.
I guess my point is, as a tree it is today, I can see the ginkgo tree branches actually touching your dormer window or proposed location of dormer window. So that actually is not getting you much view of the window or light. So I'm just questioning, is the dormer windows actually helping anything?
So another purpose of the dormer windows is to break up the large massing of the roof. So we thought that architecturally it would complement design well. And if there needs to be any minor trimming of the tree, I think that would still maintain the tree's health. That should not be affected.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant?
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Can you talk to me about the removing of the chimney and the fireplace and relocating it to the other location?
Sure. So currently the chimney location is located on the driveway side. And with the interior remodeling that we are doing, the living room will be moved to the right side of the house, which is why we are lining up where our proposed fireplace location will correspond to where the new chimney location will be.
Okay. My other question is, what your driveway you have drawn here shows brick ribbon and a new driveway. Is that part of the project as well? Because that is I should tie that into the rest of my question is on your picture you show porch with the floor of the porch with looks like just plain concrete, and currently it has a red brick finish that looks like it goes with the original chimney. And I just wanted to know if you would be, what are the plans for the floor of the porch and it looks like you're removing the brick patio, the brick walkway, taking you from the porch to the driveway. So if you could just clarify the changes that you're planning on making.
So we intend to keep to basically change it out to be concrete for the driveway portion. So this picture may be a little bit deceiving, but essentially we are planning to just replace it with a new concrete driveway.
Okay, all concrete, and you're going to be removing the red, that kind of old red brick path that takes you to the porch, and you're removing the entire red brick walkway and the red brick on the front porch, is that correct?
Yes.
And you want to just have plain concrete, or what was your design plan for that?
We will put grids in the concrete, but the material itself will just be concrete itself.
Okay, are there any other questions for the applicant?
I'm sorry, I have one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
The garage is, are you taking the garage down and building a new garage?
No. So the existing garage is a little bit smaller than what the code allows. So we're just extending 2 of the walls, just a tiny bit. I think it's about a feet or 2, such that it meets the code. So that it's now going to be proposed 21 by 21 feet.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant from committee members? Okay, seeing none, I will now ask if there are any members of the public here to speak for or against or about the project. I don't think I see anyone trying to speak. So seeing none, I will now close the public comment portion of the hearing, and we will now move on to committee member discussion. Committee member Chang.
Thank you. I know the owner tried to feed a program that the family needs, and it's a fairly challenging lot because it's not that big, and the architect had done a decent job trying to work with the 2 side neighbors and work with a very traditional material layout, and it seems to be an adequate solution to solve the program challenge. I guess we may just want, what happened is that in order to achieve the final design, a good part of the homes are being demolished, including the garage 2 walls. I think the landscaping will need to, they may have to do some work to make sure the landscaping will enhance the final product. Preserving the foliage in the front is critical. So as Vice Chair Wong said, that when they frame that house, they will have to be very careful to trim that tree, but not butchering it. And then so that by the time they finish that roof line, the landscaping will still be there in the front yard to soften that roof line. The backyard, they pretty much use up whatever they need to do to maintain the 2-car garage. So leaving most everything to landscaping, but I think since we don't have a fully developed landscape plan, I would, if I were to approve it, I would definitely would require a complete landscape plan before the building permit is issued. That planning department can look at that. So that's about all I have. I can support the project the way it is now.
Okay, thank you. Committee member Lycon.
Okay, and I'm trying. Not moving. Okay, I agree with Commissioner Chang, and I have reservations about the landscaping and the health of those trees. And I think that especially facing west, that the trees are very important, and they look like they might even need some attention now, so they don't die. And they're also very compatible with that neighborhood that has a lot of older homes that have distinct character, which is a really nice part of the street. Those English homes and even that Spanish colonial, I think it's from 1926 on the corner. The homes there are not very big, and this lot in particular is very challenging. It is very small at like 7,500. And it does have properties to the both either side that have been developed in quite an unusual fashion. So I find that the home is a little too big for this lot. The massing is a little too much, but I think it's concealed in such a way, and I don't really see privacy issues. So it's not something that I would not be able to support necessarily. I think what my biggest concern is the front, the facade of the house. It's an okay design. You're not working with a lot. I understand that, but I'm projecting what I feel that the person across the street who wrote the letter might think, because she lives in I think she lives there, I don't know her, but it's a very, very lovely English Tudor from maybe 1930. And she looks like someone who has taken care of it and appreciates that type of home, as does the other neighbor and the other English Tudor, as does that Spanish colonial. So I think that the issue here for me is that you have stripped any little bit of character out of the house that was put on to kind of make it fit into that neighborhood. So I hate to see the house stripped and everything to be a new stucco, new artificial wood shake roof, and new aluminum clad windows, because that doesn't actually fit into the neighborhood. So if the facade had some more authenticity to that neighborhood, and to actually a style like I see in page 12 of the design guidelines under ranch house and Cape Cod, neither one, like in the picture, they just show more detail on the facade, and not just all stucco. So for that type of house, I would like to see a little bit more care to the detail in the front. With that said, I think if something like that was added to it, and some detail to the front walkway, I could support the largeness, the mass of the house and the square footage more so. And if there was some, like Raymond said about the landscaping, we really need to be addressed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Wong.
I appreciate the owners and architects' effort in making this lot work for their family needs. I have to say that the proposed new livable area is big, but however, it is within the legal capability of them, and they have concealed it quite well, and that is to their credit. However, it is apparently a major work of the entire structure. Relocating the chimney, and the building actually is currently quite beat up, I must say. And the landscaping in the front is, I'll say, the lack of. It is basically going wild. And while the presentation is well done, I don't think the final rendering is doing itself much service, because it shows a pretty bare minimal of the front with no mature trees, and that could easily mislead people to believe that you are having a cookie cutter in the place. So I see ground to support this project going forward, but I think to the benefit of the community and the committee, it will be really helpful to see what kind of a landscape plan it is to also work with the front facade, as committee member Lee Kon said, so that it is not a simple whitewash track home. The house has good potential, and I applaud to that. And I would love that to be better presented so that we can say okay without much reservation. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee Member McKay.
Thank you. I echo many of the sentiments of my fellow committee members. I appreciate the design in terms of working with the size of a lot, which is modest. I appreciate the attention to the concerns of neighbors, as well as the sensitivity to privacy concerns of the properties immediately adjacent. I really do. But I would support a continuance of this project. I don't think I could support an approval of it tonight. Based on the landscaping concerns that have been raised by my fellow committee members, as well as the concerns raised by committee member Lakon relating to the front entrance. I actually don't find that the design of the front entrance walkway is architecturally compatible or is compatible with the legal neighborhood, just the straight cement. So I would support a continuance. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee member Tony Chow.
Yeah, I'll be brief. I think thank you for being for that presentation. I think it was a good presentation, and you had a good understanding of the guidelines that we kind of look at. And it seems like the consensus is really mostly on the facade. And I agree. I think those 3 trees, especially the one dead center in the front, we all have to have a better idea of how it's gonna look, or how you're going to maneuver around it with the look and just the construction piece of this project. But very appreciative of all the work you put into this.
Thank you. So I think that committee member Lakon really expressed, in addition to other members, really perfectly expressed the way I feel about this project, that you know, the design certainly isn't, it's not a bad design, as she said, but this street has kind of like almost like a little bit of a storybook charm to it. And I think that she correctly pointed out that the design and perhaps it's just as it's rendered, but the design as we see it, kind of removes the authenticity and the charm of that neighborhood and even of the existing home, and certainly the homes around it. So I do believe that that is a design problem that can be solved. I also believe that this is ultimately something I could support a continuance on. I think that if there could be more character and authenticity added to especially the facade, it would help a lot. Like maybe that, address some of that just plain concrete. The brick is sometimes part of the charm. I'm not going to tell you what to do or not do. I'm just saying that adding some design details may really help this project quite a lot. And I do believe that the stucco should not be Santa Barbara stucco. It should not be a smooth sand finish. I know that there was a note that it's not really the most fine stucco, but this again is a very traditional street. And even, that kind of stucco does not belong. It should be, I forget the grades of the stucco. It kind of escapes me now. It's 1030 or I can't remember, but you know what I mean. It should be a rougher stucco, and that belongs more in a traditional street and a traditional style of home. As far as, because you mentioned that these bedrooms it's not really so much to allow light, or that the dormers are not really so much to allow light into bedrooms. I might, and because there's a concern about the trees, and the trees might really just be like directly hitting those dormers, perhaps those dormers could be recessed. Perhaps that would solve some of those issues and make those dormers, a little bit more discreet. That's just an idea. I agree that a landscape plan and a tree preservation plan would be very helpful for this project. And the last thing that I would like to mention, which I don't think that this was quite expressed in the same way by my fellow committee members, is I agree that there was a great deal of sensitivity to the massing of the back addition. However, having said that it was done with sensitivity, I still believe that the massing it's too much of like a wing that goes a little bit too deep into the back lot. So perhaps shifting that massing a little bit or making it less of like a wing that goes so deep back into this very relatively small lot would probably make it more compatible with the style of the architecture that you're going for. So I believe that this is very, very achievable, and that continuance is appropriate for this project, with the hope that that all of these issues or concerns or things that have been brought up by my fellow committee members and myself could be solved in the next time we see it, and hopefully not in more continuances after that. So yes, are there any other would anybody like to, I keep forgetting to say that after the committee members have finished discussion, I think it's perfectly relevant for other committee members to comment on the other committee members' points. So if anybody would like to do that, now's the time.
I have a comment. I want to talk about the dormers briefly, and we've all brought up dormers, or most of the committee members have, and the possibility of maybe the dormer not being necessary, and the position of the dormer. In our guidelines, we state that they should align or be centered with the windows found on the main body. And that was the one thing I had noticed, that it looks a little offset. They look a little off below. So that was one of my concerns. And I had figured out that those dormers were not part of the bedrooms. And I was thinking, and I just didn't bring it up in my comments, I forgot that possibly those dormers weren't really necessary in the house and the project. And if that was anything, that going forward would maybe be removed, possibility.
Yeah, I would like to reiterate that as well. Like the dormers may not even be necessary, and the applicant seemed to indicate that that they may not be. So that could be taken into consideration by the applicant. Any other comments before I ask for a motion? Okay, with that, I would like to ask for a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to continue the sign review case number DRC 20-46. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I got the incorrect information. That would be looking at the wrong one. Design review case number DRC 19-52. To continue to the, maybe we should ask the applicant, are they going to be ready for the next meeting, or should it be?
Yes.
Staff can help me?
Excuse me, Committee Member Chang, I just wanted to let you know that the December meeting is actually full.
Okay.
So the soonest available meeting would be actually the January 6th, which also would require the applicant to waive their Permit Streamlining Act requirement, as the action date is December 7th.
So is the owner willing to accept the extended, the required date before we make the motion to continue the matter to January 6th, 2021?
Yes, that is okay.
Thank you. So with that said, I'll make a motion to continue the DRC number 19-52 to January 6th, 2021's meeting. With for the applicant to consider all of the mentioned earlier during the deliberation.
I'll second that, Ms. Joyce.
Okay.
Could we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Committee Member Lakon,
Yes.
Committee Member McKay,
Yes.
Committee Member Chang,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wong,
Yes.
and Chair Batnich.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we now move on to the next item on our agenda, which is design review case number DRC 20-46, 1505 Circle Drive. Could we have the staff report, please?
Sure. Design review case number DRC 20-46 is a proposal for a first and second story addition to an existing two-story home, as well as some exterior, so a two-story home. Located at 1505 Circle Drive. The proposed first floor addition is a 120 square foot extension of the existing family room. The proposed second story addition will be located directly above the first story and will feature an extension of the game room and the hall and a hallway. The applicant also proposes to construct a 214 square foot balcony. However, this request is not under the purview of this review. Staff would like to make a correction on a earlier staff report, which mentions that the different materials would be applied to the addition. The colors and materials found on the addition will match the existing materials found on the home. There will be no change of materials. That completes staff's presentation.
Okay, are there any questions from committee members about this project? I have one actually. Why is the balcony not part of our purview?
It's, how do I explain this? It's not considered an addition of square footage of livable area. So that would be it. I'm sorry, I'm probably not explaining that correctly.
That's okay. Do you want maybe Ms. Choi to assist you, or you can just keep going? Sure.
Yeah, it's the requirements for items that are required. For the matters subject to design review do not list anything that would qualify this balcony as part of the as under the purview of the design review committee. So
what about the privacy impact?
that is not something that is a matter. So the San Marino City Code explicitly mentions matters subject to design review. Privacy concerns in and of themselves are not on that list. The list, and unfortunately I don't have it up right now to reference, but it does mention specific types of projects, including additions which extend the length of any wall a minimum, or 10 feet or 25%, whichever is greater of the two of any wall, a second story addition, regardless of the size, any changes made that are visible from the street, extensions of accessory buildings that are visible from the street, and increase the size over 600 square feet of the accessory structure. But none of those items lists anything that would qualify this balcony.
Okay, it just seems like it's such an obvious design element that that it would be part of what the design review committee would look at, but I understand what your explanation. Thank you. Okay, any other questions from committee members for staff? Okay, do you have a question? Committee member Lakon, I see you doing this.
Well, I'm not sure who it's for. It's regarding the history of the house. I guess the staff. I was curious if Mr. Cervantes, do we know if the home is in like the original condition that it was? I don't know how many years ago, but does it have original elements from? You saw the house, so it's a 1917 Reginald Johnson Italian revival, and I'm curious about the renovations in the past. Do we know if there's original windows and details throughout the house still, or has it already all been renovated or replaced?
Unfortunately, I did not look into the permit history to see if any of those had been changed. I can certainly look into that for you if there's any subsequent meetings. However, at the time, I don't have that information.
Any other questions from committee members, staff? Okay, seeing none, we will now ask if the applicant or applicant's representative is here and if they would like to make a few comments about the proposal.
Yes, I'm here. And good evening, Madam Chair and members of the Design Review Committee. Alex Chen here to present the project. We have a little request here. Let me share the screen. Seems last time. Okay, I think you all have seen the drawing I just talked. Basically, our addition will be 3 places, and most of the addition will be in the back of the house where the front side will not be able to see it. And the first floor.
Sorry, Alex, were you sharing your screen because we can't see it?
Let's see share. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Here's our site plan. And as you can see, the house sits way back in the middle of the lot. The lot is approximately 36,000 square feet. And the addition that we're making is right here where the shaded is, the shaded area is. It's for a existing family room expansion. And at the same time, we would like to build out this porch area. So because this door here is the door that access to the backyard during the raining season, and this have a lot of water issues outside the door. So all the addition on the ground floor will be added right here. And go to the enlarged plan, which is right here. The family room area, the 120 square feet addition in the back, and the porch is right next to the back door. Going to second floor, the addition will be on top of the family room, and also slightly enlargement of the bedroom interior remodel because we wanted to clean up this area. Make it more storage area for the linen closet along the hallway that connect to the game room. The game room addition will be on top of the family room below. And since we have the porch below, out here will be a balcony access from the office here and also connect to the game room. Game room now becomes actually used will be like a yoga exercise area. Okay. And the next drawing will be the roof plan. Shaded area shows the expansion of the roof, which this was the current roof ridge line. So current roof will be extended a couple feet higher. No matter from what angle you're looking at, the new ridge will not be higher than the existing ridge. And most of the work is done in the rear of the house. And the rafter detail referred to this drawing here will be matched the existing, and the tile roof will be 2-piece clay to match the existing. Go to the elevation. The front facade remain unchanged. As you have a question earlier, since this is 1917 Italian design, part of the renovation is we wanted to keep all of the front facade unchanged. However, this portion are deeply recessed. So we would like to change the wood window to aluminum clad window on the rest of the three sides of the facade, and it's being noted below the elevation. I think earlier before the meeting, you have wanted to make sure clarification, are we doing all the window or just the three sides of the window? We have a note here being provided since we submit. So front of the facade, because it has a lot of history in detail, stone moldings and window details, we wanted not to touch and to preserve the existing history and architecture. On the back side, where this is from the back, and we're expanding the family room, shows in the hatch below, and the game room, the yoga room, to line it up so that the roof will be a hip roof, continue the similar massing as what we already have on the building. And the detail of the balcony will match existing balconies. Current design is a wood pilaster, wood pickets, and we wanted to have the same look as the existing. So on the west side will be identical to match. Underneath here, currently there's three type of arch windows. And since we're moving the family room, we're gonna reuse this type of window. The shape and size proportion are the same to bring out to the new family room walls. Lastly, if we see the, let's see, this door window schedule, this also mentioned all the window will be replaced because the house was being remodeled, major renovation add on, I believe was 15, 20 years ago when the property owner acquired the property. And during this 15 years, all the wood window have issued, the paint is chipping and also the color, it's not the original true color. So we would like to utilize this time when we renovate the back house and all the old window can be replaced. Lastly, the scheme of the material board, the wall color will be matched the existing, and the door window of the new aluminum clad will be matched the current color. Lastly, the two-piece clay tile roof will be matched the current two-piece clay roof tile. That's my presentation.
Thank you. Are there questions from committee members for the applicant?
Madam Chair, I do have a few
Please.
questions for the architect.
Yes.
On these Sierra Pacific windows that you plan on replacing, have you looked into the profile of the window that you can find something that can replace the existing window like to like?
Yeah, the one that we're choosing is commonly used and 5/8, 3/4 the simulate light will be dual glazing, and it's being used throughout the city for many years. We cannot find the window type to match the front. And as I mentioned, since the front of the facade has a lot of history, we would prefer to leave those detail work alone. So all we're changing is the back three sides besides the front elevation.
And are they all casement windows currently? Or you
Yes.
proposing?
Yeah, window size and the glare dimension and the opening will be exactly the same as currently sizes.
Will you have to take out the existing window frame, meaning that would you have to redo the stucco mold or to make it work? How I just want to make sure when you replace these old windows in an old building like this or something of value, that detail become very important. That I don't know whether have you looked into that replacement detail on the jamb and the head and the sill. Have you looked into that?
Yes, on my detailed window sheet, I think it shows a profile of the window and doors being proposed.
No, I don't think it went back into the side of it or the exterior wall side of it. You just have some window detail. But anyway, I guess my concern is I want to make sure that when we replace that much window, practically 3/4 of the entire house window, the detail and the type has to be the right kind, and then the fabrication and also the installation become very critical, so that we don't lose it in the detail. That's one of my biggest concern on the windows.
Okay, appreciate it.
I also like to follow up on the window questions, because you're replacing windows. Normally, when we have a project that involves a scale like this, we'll have visual references. Do you have any photos of the existing windows? You must have taken some photos, at least I hope, and maybe some pictures of what you have in mind of the new windows.
The photo I don't have on the share screen, but the window, as I mentioned, the window type, the grid, number of the grid on each window will be matched exactly the current window. And Sierra Pacific or approved equal windows has been used aluminum clad, especially in the city. That's been used throughout the city in the past years, many years.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Have you, when you remove all of those, I'm assuming that they're old windows from early on. When you take them all out at the same time, except for the front, but you take them all out and then you replace them all with brand new aluminum clad, those aluminum clad windows, my concern is that those are only good for maybe 20 years. And if the colors start to fade, or they sell the house, someone wants to buy it and change the colors, you no longer have that freedom to change the color. And then within 20 years, those windows are going to have to be replaced. And if you have problems with one window or the house settles, because they do, then if the windows aren't working right, it just seems like if you would you ever consider restoring the windows that are restorable to a level that's acceptable, and to rethink taking them all out? Is that a direction that you'd be willing to go with, or is that something that's not an option? Because I also am concerned that aluminum clad is not a product that's a great product for a house like this. This is a pretty special house, and I think it deserves something that is more in line with the type of estate that it is. So that's another concern I have. Okay, but if you could tell me about that, I would appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, part of the process was selecting window that will last for at least 50 years. And Sierra Pacific, because the window that they made aluminum clad, the pane is made from the factory. They're guaranteed for a number of the years. So it won't be the type of window that we see on the building now. It's only 10 years of wood frame, because they're exposed to sun, rain, water, and weather. That's why if you don't keep out the maintenance, repaint it every 5 years, you're gonna have that issue. Now with the aluminum window, clad window, you have a manufacturer warranty, at least 30 years down the line. And that's why we choose this one, and maintenance free, and you will last much, much longer, throughout to the building, to preserve the window. And when this window have issue, I don't foresee it in the near future. Let's say 30, 40 years now, then let's see what we can do better. Maybe by then we have a newer product come out. We go from there. But as of now, most the aluminum clad window on the market are designed for pretty long period of the time. Hope that answers your window about the age.
So all of the old windows get thrown away? Because I know that they're of value and I've seen people selling the windows. So is that something, do they just go, what happens to those windows that you throw away and doors?
We haven't discussed that, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions of the applicant from committee members?
Yes, I have one more quick question. Has Sierra Pacific, the sales rep or somebody that represent them, have they seen the project? Have they looked into the replacement details? I guess what I'm asking, I don't have any issue with the product that you have chosen. I do have a concern that if this is not implemented correctly, it could be detrimental, because even if you have to, because I don't know how the existing construction window frame is and the head detail. Is the interior and the exterior stucco curved into it? Does it have a stucco mold? Do you know that detail? Because I don't see it on your drawing. Have you looked into that?
Yeah, well, they have two type of window. One is to replace the existing window opening, and one is a new construction. So for replace the existing opening, the stucco mold can still be implemented to the detail.
So you keep the existing stucco detail, basically?
Yes.
Okay, that will be absolutely one of the conditions, because I don't want to have to rip out all the stucco and then try to make it watertight. And then later on, the current work cannot duplicate what was there. And then all of a sudden, every window looked like a new patch, like a Band-Aid on every single one of them. It will be a disaster. So I just want to make sure that you need to talk to Sierra Pacific and order the window to be the block type that can replace from the existing frame to existing frame, not to rip out the stucco then, if that's the case.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the owner. Really appreciate all the recommendation and the suggest. Yeah, we love the house, so we will keep it very high quality. Yeah, I'll make sure when we select the vendor, always put a high standard. Really appreciate the comment. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. I think it is very important. A home like this is not just a home; it's a piece of art. Yeah. So you need to restore the art with the latest and the best technology, but yet you want to keep the original authenticity of the details and the original architecture.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah, that's the attention. Especially this house is very beautiful, and then with some history there. So, but the problem current window is like after 2 years, 3 years, showing the paint get off, then it's very hard to maintain. So that is a little bit destroy the quality level of the house. So we're trying, yeah, appreciate. Yeah.
Thank you.
So as a follow-up question to the architect, I just want to ask, is a plan to have Sierra Pacific's team to come do the measurement and let their technician come and install, or you plan to use a construction team to do it? Because I've seen it both ways, and usually the brand companies craftsmanship is usually a lot better, and you can hold them accountable, and you would have a lot less stress down the road.
Yeah, Mr. Wong, yes, in this case, because the house has a lot of history, we will invite the Sierra Pacific team to come to physically see the current condition and come up with the proposed the step to follow and even have their team to install. So we get the best quality, all of it at the end. And the city can feel proud of the house being remodeled.
Thank you for sharing this information. It'll keep the estate property like a gem. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. So from what I understand from you, you're saying that the windows on the facade would remain wood windows. I just want to clarify that first. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Would you tell me how, I mean, I'm sure that the front windows have the same issues as the windows on the rest of the house. So how are you going to address any, what's the word? Any issues that are currently existing on those facade wood windows?
Okay. Currently, as I mentioned earlier, 20 years ago, when the property owner did a major renovation before they bought the house.
Mm-hmm.
So all other side, the window is not the original window anymore.
On the facade, it's not the original.
The facade window, in my opinion, it's at the time when they built the house, that is the only original window in the front.
Okay, so the front, just sorry to, yeah, so you're saying that all of the windows that are currently on the facade of the house, you believe that they are all original to the home?
Correct.
And you believe that all of the rest of the windows had gone through a replacement perhaps 20 years ago? Is that, can I ask the owner if that is correct? I'm assuming that the owner has been there for 20 years or no?
I bought a house in 10 years ago. So I live here.
Oh, okay. So you're not sure when the rest of the windows, okay.
We're not sure, but there's one condition because in the front is facing the south or north, yeah. Then so it's morning sunshine. Then but in the back it's all the like sunshine. So it's let's kill the like windows quality. Also, I can feel the difference in the front yard by my not professional view. In the front, my window you can feel the original like a design, also original, all the details. Yeah, even the sitting. I'm sitting in this dining room is a very like a keep everything is almost like in the beginning. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the window in front is very good quality, well maintained, and then we don't want to touch anything because it's also less exposure under the sun, so it's better protect. But in the other side of the window, it's more trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just put out the front elevation. You see the south elevation here. See, all the window is very very neat and in proportion, in detail, because this area, especially the arch, doorway, and the side light all the way around, it will be very difficult to replicate. So that's why we would like to keep this front facade the way it is without touching and to keep the original.
Okay, so I guess my question is, how have the front windows held up so well over, the past 100 years? And I mean, if they have any deficiencies, how will you address that?
Mostly it's the painting issue. Okay. So through this time, we remodel again. We will follow the Secretary, the State of the Interior, for remodel to pen over the procedure to renovate the existing window. That's what we're planning to do. Because if you just put coats on of the existing paint, it's not gonna last. So we're gonna do some research to how to preserve those wood windows in the front, especially. We're not changing, but we're resurfacing to bring out the original color and maybe need to be sanded down or repainted and so forth.
Okay. And you're saying that all of the rest of the windows, are you kind of, are you sort of guessing, or what does it makes you think that the other windows were replaced maybe 20 years ago? And are they all wood, and why are they so damaged if they're not that old?
Yeah, you can tell very simple from this drawing here. This is the original front facade.
Right.
And this is the back, which sits back in at least 40 feet in the courtyard, motor court area. And the sides here on the east elevation, these are the modern windows that we see. And from time to time, you can tell this type of window versus this type of window, they have done differently, especially the style, the treatment, the lights. And that's why I know it's different at the time.
So you think that they changed the shape of the windows too? They went from a very classic, this Italianate style shape to a very kind of generic, kind of off the shelf shape, and they redid all of their stucco to accommodate a more modern type of window, or was it just designed that way originally and they were just replacing? I understand that you may not know all of these issues. I'm just trying to get a sense for what happened.
Yeah, you may simply tell if you look at this drawing, it's very minimalistic. On the large window, French door occurs on the dining and the living room area.
Right.
Typically on the newer design, you will see, I want more light, I want more opening to see the landscape. But in this case, it's very minimal. The French door on top of the living room from the master suite and the staircase, tall windows here, they are very unique in size and division of the glass. So looking at this drawing here, physically I know because it's being remodeled and the size is size and shape is more of a modern for the last 12 years, 10, 20 years, this size. So this window shape and size, I think they wanted to match something like this, but yet they show their own character that they don't want to replicate. This is being added on so that, from the history secretary of the Interior state that when you remodel a historic home, you will be able to see what's the old and new and be very distinctive to point out. You can see it from the elevation.
Right. Okay, so you think that it was kind of intentional on the part of the people of the previous owners who replaced these maybe 20 years ago? And are they falling apart, or what is the condition of these windows right now? Are they all in very, very poor condition, or are they in varying condition? Or can you give us some idea of the variety of how the status of the windows right now?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a very poor condition. I can only say that the paint chip are falling off, and the window frame, it's a wood. It's not a long-term product. So since we doing the remodel and we would like to replace it, so we all can last another 30, 50 years.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from committee members? Okay, seeing none, are there any members of the public who are here to speak for, against, or about this project? Okay, I do not see anyone. So we will close the public comment portion of the hearing, and we will now move on to committee member discussion. Committee member McKay.
I at most could support a continuance tonight. I'm not, I just don't feel that we know exactly what we're considering. I don't see the representation of what is there now. We're just getting a description of it, but I don't see the photographs or the sort of proof of what's there now, and just drawings isn't going to do it. And then I don't see what the plan is in you know, in some kind of you know, sample of the material, material representation. That you know, our guidelines indicate new windows are to match those that are on the existing structure. Chosen architectural style composed of the same material as those found on the existing structure. So the front facade, I understand the sensitivity and the care being given to preserving that front facade and not disturbing the original wood windows there. But that sort of begs the question: if those original wood windows are still functioning now, why are we changing the windows? Why are the, you know, what is the real justification for changing the material in the back? Even the windows, it was just, I just learned it from the last comment. I was going to ask the question, but in response to the chair's question, the answer was given, which is that even the windows that were from the last renovation that are 20 years old are wood. And so I'm not really sure, you know, windows made of natural material are encouraged pursuant to our design review guidelines. Aluminum is discouraged. I'm just not sure for the justification of making this big change in such a noteworthy property. Both the choice of the material and the failure to be able to see what it's going to actually look like as implemented. And then I'm very sensitive to my fellow committee members' very astute observations about what the ramifications are of pulling these windows out and putting these new windows in and what it's going to do to the stucco. I think there are a lot of open questions here. I could support a continuance. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Wong.
I'd like to ask the staff first to clarify one thing. Is the Sierra Pacific window, the brand and the color proposed, it is in this city's pre-approved material list, correct?
Yes, Sierra Pacific is on the pre-approved list.
Thank you. It is a big property, and the space addition is concealed from public eyesight. So, and the ask is modest. It can make sense to me. So I don't see much of a problem in the area addition. For the window changeover, that is for the 3 sizes, not the front facade. And I know it is very expensive to maintain an old property, and also energy efficient and all those stuff leaking. I hate to see the owner to go, you know, take care of the windows, change out, collect, you know, leaking water every day. It's a huge property. It doesn't make sense. My impression is existing window on the sides are not original. And since the Sierra Pacific is in the pre-approved list, it is not visible from the street. It is going to be energy efficient, soundproof, and going to help the bigger property to make it more comfortable and also easy to maintain. And with those ground, I think I can support this ask proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee Member Lakon.
Hi. I could also support a continuance. I would like to see, I would like to see different options for windows. I don't find aluminum clad to be appropriate for the style of house. If it's not wood, is there another material that is more appropriate? I would like to see something like that. And I could approve the addition, and I think that it looks like it blends into the original home nicely, and I don't see any privacy issues. And I also want to make sure that the stucco was not being removed on the home, and that when the stucco from the materials board was just a stucco that would be used on the addition. So with that part, I could approve as well, but I would like to support a continuance. Thanks.
Thank you. Committee Member Chang.
Maybe there is a way that we can, depends on whether the owner and the architect wanted to consider that way. It sounds to me that supporting the addition and the improvement to the building, it's very workable. Consider the size of the lot, consider what they're asking for. It's very workable. So that part I don't have any problem with at all. I know they'll be able to finish the project, and it will come out to be a very nice addition and an improvement. I also had the pleasure of living in one of those 1927 homes on Lombardi at one time, and the problem of those existing wood windows that I have encountered years ago was that they're usually a single pane, and they're usually very large. And when and over the years, the wood started to warp, and then when you open it, it got stuck. And if you paint it, it tends to get stuck more. You have to completely re-sand it down to the raw wood, prime it, prep it again, and then repaint it. So for years, I remember maybe 15 years ago, we never were not that fond of the aluminum clad window until we find out that most of the wood windows in the city really need some help. So we started to approve them, just like the metal roof, and then we have pretty good results. And they continue to refine the material, so they last for a long time. They do not fade. They do not stuck. We stay away from vinyl window. That we know that we did the right thing. But aluminum clad over wood, it's a good product. If the owner would like to, I would approve the addition portion. I would also like to see other options. Honestly, Sierra Pacific is not the real high-end Rolls-Royce and Mercedes type window. They are not. They are actually at best maybe a Lexus. I would have you to start looking at some other manufacturer. Have the manufacturer go look at that home and come up with a full detail of the existing window detail, both jam head and sill, and have them come up with the product that actually can be replaced without causing any waterproofing problem, and how is that going to work out in full detail, and share with us the actual product, either in the brochure form or have the window manufacturer rep to join us so we can ask them questions directly. I feel more comfortable that way to approve the windows, but I am a little concerned about not having the detail worked out, and then once it's gone, we all sorry for it, including the owner. I don't want her to risk that possibility. So that's where I stand. So I can approve the condition of the remodeling, but hold back the window portion. That's where I stand, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Committee Member Rick Chow.
Yes, I can also basically support the continuance of this project, and I think other committee members made some really great, valuable comments. And I think the addition part, same here, I definitely can support that. The windows, I also agree, seem to be the main concern here. I think the owner should understand that ultimately, when you take a little bit more time, go through this process, and as other committee members suggested, look at perhaps better products even, and give us some photos showing us the front and back, the windows, the existing conditions. Show us what other products are there. You know, I think the aluminum clad, certainly if you find the high grade, the best product, I think there's a great opportunity to to make this house beautiful and to improve on it. So with that, again, I can support the addition and I'll support a continuance of this project.
Thank you. So I will give my opinion on things. I think I want to say something which I probably should have mentioned earlier, but I want to express my confusion regarding the idea that a new balcony on a home with this provenance would not need to have any sort of design review of any sort. I listened to staff's explanation about that, and I still would like to get I would like staff to look into that. I'm just questioning how a home that I believe is on the historical survey, that's I think we all agree that this is a very special home. The owner has expressed that, the architect has expressed that. All of the committee members have, I believe, expressed that this is a very notable architect. It's a very notable home. It's very notable architecture. It's one of the oldest homes in San Marino, on one of the most important streets in San Marino. I mean, I can go on, but it doesn't get, it's hard for me to understand how we wouldn't have how there would be no design review to a new balcony. So I want to say that first. I also want to ask if there is any historical resource report that was done on this, and if it was asked of the applicant and the status. I would like to ask staff the status of that, to look into that.
I can answer both of those questions if you'd like, now, if you'd like.
Do you want to just briefly address it? It's not really the time, but yes, please briefly address it. And I think that it might merit more looking into, but please go ahead.
Sure. I do have the code section pulled up for matters subject to the design review. I won't go through them again, but I've reviewed the list, and unfortunately, the balcony itself would not trigger design review. Another thing to keep in mind is that the window replacement itself would also not trigger design review. If the applicant came forth with the intent of simply changing the windows, that would also not come before this committee. The second question, as far as the historical resource assessment, that is typically triggered when there's a demolition, a partial or complete demolition of a home over 50 years. Of course, that this home is over 50 years old, but there is no even partial demolition really proposed here. If the committee does choose to request one, they can do that at their discretion. But this project, as it's being proposed to us currently, would also not trigger the requirement for a historic assessment report.
Okay, thank you for your comment. And I still think that this should be further explored. But anyway, I want to say that I believe that the proposed addition that we're being told is within our purview today is fine with me. I think it's sensitive to the architecture, and like my fellow committee members, I find it absolutely compatible. Like my fellow committee members, I'm going to also express a lot of reservation about the windows. I feel my questions to the architect or to the designer were to pretty much express or to explore what committee member McKay said, which is that, if we can preserve the 100-year-old or whatever windows on the front, then why can't we preserve the windows on the rest of the structure, especially a home with this kind of provenance? And I mean, I know I've dealt with a lot of old windows, and window restoration is a great service that is absolutely a very good possibility as an option. And I would encourage you to look into restoration options because they are quite good and they can be a very good option for a homeowner. I think a homeowner, someone who buys a house on Circle Drive, I love hearing your appreciation of the home that you've bought, and I love seeing where you're sitting. It's amazing to see this this room that you're in, and I think that you probably know that when you buy a house like this, you're sort of a steward of the home. You're taking care of it while you own it, and then you're taking care of this, as the designer said this, as Mr. Committee Member Chang said, like, you're taking care of this work of art. So I'm not sure that aluminum clad windows really work in that respect, but I also respect that you want to fix your windows and you want something that works for you and that might be fresher and newer looking. So I just want to also, like my fellow committee members, express my hope that you will look into alternatives to replacement with aluminum clad windows. I do think that there are great wood window options. There's great window restoration options, and there are other options that the committee has not yet mentioned. And I hope that you'll explore that. I too can absolutely support a continuance. I cannot support like a partial approval today as far as the addition, because I would like all of this dealt with in a way that is sensitive to the historical nature of this home. And I believe that that as a thoughtful owner, that we can count on you to come back with something that takes into consideration the historical nature of your home. And I believe that this is on the historical assessment or the historical report, historical assessment. This home is on the historical assessment, and that should trigger, let's say, a higher layer of sensitivity of changing windows, of changing anything that really removes the historical nature of your home. So I hope that you can come back to us with something that is very sensitive to the historical nature of this work of art that you're taking care of, and something that helps you, live your life in a better way, in a way that you hope to improve your property. So I hope that that is helpful to the owner. That's how I feel. I did hear support for continuance from several other of my fellow committee members. I think that's it for me. So I will ask for a motion now from my fellow members. I'll make a motion. I will move to continue. Excuse me, I don't have the case number in front of me. Just excuse me 1 second. Sorry. I will move to continue DRC case number. Oh my goodness, where is it?
It's 20-46.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. DRC case number 20-46, I believe you said?
That's right.
Okay, thank you. And is it 1505 Circle Drive?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I just lost it on my phone. And that would require, I believe that would require the owner to waive the streamlining.
Yes, it would. The required action date for this project is November 30th. This project would also have to be continued to the January 6th meeting.
Okay, is that
The architect
okay
want to
with
say
the?
something?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to thank you for all your recommendation to the windows. I'm sure the property owner will do more research and find a better product. However, since
Wait, I'm sorry, the committee discussion is over. If you'd like to make a very, very brief point, I will allow it, but this is the time for your presentation is over.
Yeah, we will research the window, but during the Mr. Sorrentez saying that replace window is not required. It's not that we are not willing to, but to hold on beyond the January 15th, that will just kind of delay our project. So
Yeah,
is there,
okay, thank you. I think I understand your point. I believe that I expressed some concern with the historical nature of this home, and that is why I am moving to continue this. We're in the middle of me making a motion, so I would like to continue making my motion. So, but question to you is, would you, are you willing to waive your streamlining, your,
yeah,
I'm
if
sorry, until January, are you willing to?
January sometime, Mr. Sorrentez?
I believe it's January 6th.
January
Mr.
6th
Roy?
meeting.
Or Mr. Cervantes? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then I have made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, could we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Committee Member Lakon? I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear that.
Yes.
Thank you. Committee Member McKay?
Yes.
Committee Member Chang?
Yes.
Vice Chair Wong?
No.
And Chair Batnich?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. I am going through my agenda packet, excuse me, and I've lost my place. Please just give me 1 second.
Just before I leave the conference, I appreciate everybody's comment. Love the house. From my heart, I want to keep the house high quality. Yeah, I would discuss with the designer to come out with some better solution for the windows.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We're now moving on to the next agenda item unless, yes, we have the, excuse me. I apologize. I've just somehow lost my place. I believe the next item on the agenda is 1095 Rosalind Drive.
I think 17.
1715 West
Oh,
Haven.
excuse me. Okay, yes, so it's West Haven. Sorry. There's a lot of reports. I'm on it. I'm almost there. I'm just going through the arborist report. Please excuse my, there we go. Okay, the next item on our agenda is design review case number DRC 19-15, 1715 West Haven Road. Could we have the staff report, please?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Again, this is a second hearing for this project. At the first hearing for this project, which is a 1- and 2-story addition to an existing 2-story home. At the first hearing on September 16, the DRC continued the project because of massing issue and concern of privacy impact on the adjacent neighbors. And also staff, and I'm sure the committee remember that there were overwhelming neighbors' concern from this project that were expressed during the meeting. On the second page of the staff report, staff provided a list of items that's been changed based on the committee's comment from the last hearing. The overall building is a little smaller by roughly, it's been reduced by about 301 square feet. One of the major change is that the applicant has now removed the lower level cover patio along the west property line. Staff is able to support this request and this current design in front of you, and finding that it does not create any privacy impact. There are substantial setback for the addition, and the addition itself is compatible with the style of the home. At the recommendation of committee member Raymond Chang at the last meeting, the applicant has submitted a landscape plans to provide some softscape in front of the home to offset the two-story massing that you're seeing today. I would like to apologize that this afternoon at about 5 o'clock this afternoon, I have forwarded a common letter from the south neighbor that was submitted to staff earlier today. The letters comment that the arborist report contain errors, and I would defer those questions to the project applicant and the architect. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from committee members for the to ask staff? Excuse me. Yes, go ahead.
The garage movement is not under our purview. We're I'm sorry, the applicant is going to move the garage, and that is something that is only something that staff will go over with the applicant. It's nothing under DRC.
Correct. According to matters subject to DRC review, an accessory structure, which is something like a garage, a detached structure from the main home, it is subject to DRC review if that structure is visible from the street and it is over 600 square feet in footprint. In this case, that garage is not over 600 square feet in footprint, so it is not subject to DRC review.
Okay, even though we can see it now, the fact that it's going to have an impact on the neighbor's property because it's moving so far over that, does that have any bearings? Is there anything that we can do to protect that? That part of the property, or does it not matter? Can you just move the garage over there no matter what?
So the required setback for a detached garage structure is 2 feet from the side yard and 2 feet from the backyard. The proposed setback is 5 feet. In staff's opinion, this setback is adequate. Similar to other garage setback on the block, which ranges from 2 to 5 feet, if not non-conforming, which means it could potentially be less than 2 feet. And since, again, because the footprint of this garage is not over 600 square feet, the DRC does not have jurisdiction over this structure.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, is the applicant here, and would the applicant or applicant's representative like to make any comments or a brief presentation?
Here. Dear DRC member and neighbors, thank you all for being here today and to continue reviewing our project. We have taken the previous meeting comments from the DRC and our neighbors very seriously to make the correction in this revised submission. We reduced the addition size from the 922 square feet to 621 square feet. So cut down about 33% of the addition and take out the covered patio to reduce the massive. And in addition to this, we also hire a landscape architect to design the front yard landscaping. We were planning 4 big trees, make the beautiful landscaping to solve the original massive of the front facade to compact into our neighbor's house. So the change above is represent our best effort to compromise our neighbors. After all, we think our revised proposal is very reasonable as our family grows. We simply need more bathroom and the bedroom space in order to live comfortable. So Please take our proposal into consideration. Thank you all.
Thank you. Are there any questions from committee members for the applicant?
Yes. Good
Oh,
evening.
yeah. You're the applicant's representative, correct?
Yes, I'm Freeman Han. I'm architect for this project. Good evening, everybody. And I like point out about the garage. The first meeting, before the first meeting, I think the owner contact with the south neighbor. The owner say if we can keep 10 feet away from their building, they will okay with. So I make a side yard setback 5 feet and another 5 feet to another 5 feet away from the neighbor's building line. So total plus is more than 10 feet. You can see the most of the neighbor is only 2 feet, like our neighbor at the north, only 2 feet to our property. We still keep like 5 feet. Is pretty reasonable distance to the neighbor. So I like to be here and to answer you if you have any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I do have a question
Yes, please.
to the architect. So I'm sorry, maybe I didn't quite follow you. So the garage, from the garage to the property line or to the other building, neighbor's building, is it 2 feet or 5 feet?
5 feet, I call out 5 feet.
5 feet from what to what? I'm sorry.
5 feet from the garage wall to the property line, south property line.
Oh, to the south property line, but to the south. Okay, but to the west is 2 feet?
To the west.
That's
to the east is another 5 feet. So let me share the plan. Let me. So, did you see? No, did you see?
No, or you can just verbally describe it. I think.
Okay, if you see the garage, you see the south to the south property line is 5 feet, and to the east, the align with the neighbor building line is 5 feet, and the neighbor is 5 feet. Total plot together is 10 feet. Did you get it?
Not completely clear, but I think that's probably okay. So because what you're saying is that the garage, the new proposed garage to the south neighbor's property line is 5 feet. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, and the neighbor, they have 5 feet to the property line.
Okay, that's not.
And we are pretty much away from the building, another 5 feet away from the back of the building.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah, so the diagonal is more than 10 feet.
Got it.
Okay, other questions for the applicant or applicant's representative?
I just want to check with the architect. Can you clarify the size living area reduction is from how? Is it from receding from the side or tucking it back in, making it less long?
I make a shorten 5 feet. I cut a two-story 5 feet. I took out the cover patio 7 feet, and the only fourth floor extension only 12 inch. So total reduction is like 301 and 33% the reduction compared with the previously plan. And originally I call on the plan, original I pop out is 18 feet. Now it's only 13 feet. So I cut out from directly from fourth floor to second floor 5 feet directly. And the second floor master bedroom, it was 12 feet come out. Now it's only 6 feet. I bubble on the floor plan.
I saw that. Thank you.
Yeah.
But you did not change your posting on site though, because when I was on the site, the post seems to be the old post, correct?
Because we call the city. So city says the second time hearings no required to redo the story poll. So we didn't do it.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Other questions for the applicant or applicant's representative?
One more quick question for the architect or the rep. Mainly, it's on the landscaping. I can't quite make it out on the landscape plan about the size of the trees that you proposing. From the plan, it shows that you're putting 4 trees, but do you know the size of those trees or what they are? How is that going to improve I just need to know how is that going to improve the size.
And they have a legend, planting legend.
The tree, I think, is 24.
24 bucks.
Yeah, 24-inch box.
Yeah.
4 of them, 24-inch box?
Yes.
Because I can't quite make it on from the computer or print it out. I can't quite make it.
I have a plan just on the planting legend.
I thought I'm reading 15-gallon carrot wood trees.
Oh, 15 gallon? 15 gallon?
I'm reading that on something that came maybe more recently. I'm not sure when I got that.
15 gallon is like a bullshit. It's like a bullshit. The tree on the bottom, the tree is shrub. Shrub is 15 gallon. The tree is 24 bucks.
It's 24.
Yeah, I see L1, it mentioned 4 15-gallon juniper that would be planted in front of the house. And I saw 3 24-inch box, carrot wood trees and another 21 inch box. So I think there are 4 24-inch trees in the landscape plan as I can see it.
I see. Would you have any idea how high they are now or what is the frugal height of the trees?
Okay.
Is a landscape architect here?
No, I'm sharing the screen for the landscape planning.
呢個嘅抄襲，佢都要抄襲嘅路程。
Can you see it?
We only see the index. I don't see the plan. I actually have
You may have to make it bigger.
We can make a 36 box.
Okay, yeah. I think in order for something substantial to help your elevation, you're gonna have to come up with something bigger. But I think we can talk about it later. I just want to see what they have proposed and what your is he a landscape architect? The person, Mr. Garcia.
Manuel.
Is he a landscape architect?
No.
He's not. Okay. I see a stamp, but I can't even make out the stamp. I thought he was a landscape architect, but it doesn't look. Seeing the drawing, I don't think he is, but that's okay. We can talk about it later.
Okay, any other questions that committee members have for the architect or architect's representative? Go ahead.
I have.
Yes, go ahead. We can't hear you.
Okay, to the applicants, this is the only project that I've come across such a conflict with the neighbors regarding the development of the property. And I was hoping that I could understand better. I still don't see a lot of support, and I'm wondering what has happened over the years. You've lived in the house for years, I take it, since this has been going on for a while. Have you, do you reside in the property next door to these neighbors that are not supporting the project? And can you tell me a little bit about what's happening?
Yeah, I think my neighbors, the most concern is they think the house is too big. Well, our proposal, the original way, the first time we apply is tear down, is propose a new house, brand new house. So it's 3,600 square feet. So yeah, so this is the third time we apply. So we just do a remodel. So we cut down the most size. So right now it's only apply 2,800 square feet. So I attempt to talk to neighbor about, and I have sent Eva the attempt times I visited to neighbor. So yeah.
I'm sorry, do you live in the property?
Yes.
Okay. And you've talked to them twice? How many?
No. It's about, I talked about it 5 or 6 times for this. Yeah, I living there about 5 years already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can there used to be some oak trees in the very back, between the garage and the back of the property. Are those oak trees gone?
No, that's olive trees still there.
Well, there's an olive tree, I believe I saw, but there's some oak trees.
Oak tree.
There were oak trees.
Oak tree is still there.
Yeah, oak tree still there.
Avocado tree. Still there in the back?
Yeah.
Behind the garage.
Yeah.
I can't, the report, the tree report seems a little outdated, it seems. Wasn't it done in 2019? It seems like it's getting a little bit outdated, and it's a little confusing. So you're saying that big oak tree is still there? That's between the back gate or fence and the garage?
We don't have anything like any oak tree behind our garage. And which oak tree you are declared for? And the oak tree you declare is in my back neighbor's house?
Oh, I know your side neighbor has oak trees, but I didn't.
We don't have oak tree inside our properties. We only have an oak tree in the boundary of the house, and one in the left side of the driveway, and there's another one in the really back of the house in my backyard neighbor house.
Oh, your backyard neighbor.
Yes, so there's a
garage.
Like we don't have any oak tree surrounding our garage. Nothing.
Nothing behind it.
Nothing behind. Yeah, everything behind is a really like it's about like 5 years ago we have some olive trees. Olive tree with it's about like it's really like older like olive tree. They don't have any leaf. Only come with a big branch and all the leaf is coming down. So we're taking pictures and I show to Eva and we send to the arborist and they checked. So we just go to the city and pay the city the fee to cutting down the olive trees to clean our backyard. Yeah.
Okay, because I know that it's a very wooded area. And it's but
yes. Like during our after we like trimming down the olive tree, we applying for like building a new house. But
I'm sorry, but I see like in the old real estate ads, I see lots
about avocado trees.
I see lots of trees behind.
It's old avocado trees. There's 4 avocado trees like with a really distressed, like it's not really healthy in the back of the garage.
They didn't water them.
It's not the water problem, I believe. Like this is original kept. It's original, and we water over like over surrounding of our hedge really often. Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, we like trees. We don't want to hurt the tree for sure. Like we're always keeping the tree well. Yeah, but like this is an existing tree from before, from the previous owners. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I see in the old real estate ad, I see many trees in the back
Yeah.
of the property behind the garage.
Yeah, you see a lot of branch, right? And it's not really healthy trees. You see all the branch, yeah.
See a lot of trees. They look like old mature trees. So I
Yeah.
know that that's an important canopy because your properties are not very narrow. They're more narrow and they're deep. So you can see your neighbors' yards more easily than if your house is up.
No, we like
Down, if there's not a lot of trees, then you lose that park-like feel easily because
no, we're planting the hedge surrounding our house like about 3 years ago.
I know a hedge is one thing, and that's very nice for privacy, but a hedge is not a park-like feel. It provides boundaries to your property, but it doesn't give you that feel that we in design reviewer is trying to accomplish. You know, we like we encourage a park-like feel to be maintained. So that's why I was very curious about all the tree report and then the trees I see in pictures, and it seems like there's a disconnect. So thank you for clarifying that for me.
Okay, yeah.
Are there any more questions of the applicant or applicant's representative?
There's one more quick question to the architect. What you're proposing an 8-foot plate height, first floor and second floor?
Yes.
Which your addition actually lower than the existing?
Because
building?
it's exceeding ceiling height, so I keep it the same way.
So it's 8 foot?
Exceeding is a 2-story building. So we keep first floor ceiling height, second floor ceiling height the same.
What is it? Do you know the height of the plate?
I think it's 8 feet to 8 feet. 8
On
feet,
the A3 plan.
3 inch, both floor and the second floor.
8'3"?
3 inch.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions for the applicant or applicant's representative? I have a question. So there seems to be some concern raised over the validity of the tree preservation report, the tree report. And I also have some reservations as to, you know, whether that's correct or not. I don't know who's measuring from what, you know, who's measuring the proper part, or whether the tree report is so old that those trees have grown since, so they're measuring larger now. But I also want to express that avocado trees and Carolina cherries are both planned to be removed, but those are both heritage trees and should be replaced with heritage trees according to our tree preservation report. And so replacing with a carrot wood isn't going to do it, and 15 gallons isn't going to do it. So I'm just wondering about my question has two parts. First, are you aware of the tree preservation ordinance and what it requires you to do? And secondly, if you are aware, were there any deficiencies in the tree preservation report, such as I believe one of the neighbors believes that it is deficient? Can you make any comment on that or explain?
Comment, and it's 24-inch box, not the 15 gallon for the carrot wood and crepe myrtle. Crepe myrtle is a preservation tree.
Heritage tree?
Crepe myrtle is a heritage tree.
Okay.
On the list, it's a 24-inch box.
Is there I guess we can get into the details, later. But I understood that a carrot wood may be proposed. This is what I understood from.
I'm not sure carrot wood. Yeah.
Okay.
Myrtle. Yeah. I think the.
I see 3 carrot wood and 1 crepe myrtle. So
Yes.
4
Okay.
in total in the front and 24-inch box for each.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so, and you've addressed that a little bit. What about the report? Like, is the report wrong? Do you make any claims about that report? Is the report outdated and needs to be updated?
Yeah, the report we had done like it's about like 2 years ago, and there's nothing like the report is correct, and we even go to the site, go to our backyard, and we bring the report update and about like 2 months ago, and the arborist and they redid and fix all the issue described on the like arborist report. So we have we still have an avocado tree in the middle of our house. The avocado tree is kind of like with a dead branch. So the arborist asking to remove the avocado trees. And there's one tree beside my driveway. There's one tree is dead. So the arborist try to remove this dead tree. Yes, I believe everything is really clear right now, and it's really straightforward. And we try to preserve what we need to preserve, the trees. And what is a tree we need to trim down is a tree is really bad healthy or already dead. So this is for the arborist report. So it's really clear right now.
Okay, so I have a question about that. So
Yeah.
whether the avocado tree
Mhm.
is alive or not so healthy
Mhm.
or, thriving, my understanding is that that's a heritage tree. The same thing with the Carolina cherry tree. That's also a heritage tree. So those need to be replaced with heritage trees, regardless of whether
Sure.
there's a few
Yeah.
limbs that aren't doing well. So I
understand.
just wanted to clarify that, and that needs to be done according to the tree preservation ordinance. So I believe that there's like a replacement matrix in the ordinance that specifies the size of the box and what it has to be. So it seems like that may need to be revisited, but that's just what I want to say. Do you understand
Yeah.
that?
Okay, I understand. So we try to we can replace with this kind of trees. We can replace in front as well. That's no problem for us. So is this what you mean? Try to preserve the avocado and the Catalina cherry. This is a tree, it's a historical tree. That's why we need to be replaced or replanted again in the front yard.
I mean, I'm not telling you what to do because that's not really our role. I just want to make sure that you understand the
Yeah.
ordinance and what it requires. And I
Sure.
guess based on what you're saying,
Yeah.
your answers before led me to believe that maybe you need some clarification on that. And I just want you to know that as an applicant and So that's it for my questions as far as the tree preservation and the tree report. Are there any other questions from committee members to the applicant or representative?
Well, I have some concerns about the neighbor's letter regarding the accuracy of the tree report. There's so many little details here, but is the report incorrect and not reflective of the trees that are there? Can I ask I guess never, we haven't had that part yet. Okay. Is it possible to get, do we have a survey on this property? Do you have a survey? Have you done a survey?
We do have a survey.
You do?
Yes.
Sure.
Have a survey. Okay. Is it attached in here? Maybe it's in here. Because it seems like there was some discretion on where the tree was, or so it's you're very sensitive a property line with your neighbors to the south, seeing that the property to the south is so is so forested basically, and that is part of that appeal of that house next door, and it is also provides your property with much privacy. So it's very important to maintain the health of the trees, even to the properties, the neighbors to your south or your north, but to your south in this situation, because of what you do on your property is going to impact the life of those trees. And so it just seems like there was some kind of discrepancy in the report, and I want to make sure we get that cleared up, or that another report is done that's more recent. Are you showing me the trees? I don't know what I'm saying here.
Does the applicant want to respond to the committee members' inquiry?
I'm sharing the survey. Can you see?
No, we do not see that. It's, I see the top, but it's not, it's only in the bottom right. There's the PDF survey, but you didn't open it up.
Oh, I didn't open that.
Right, yeah, it's not there. It's what I can see.
Good question.
Survey is
Right there, yeah, open it up, you can open it.
Can you see it right now?
No, it doesn't work.
It's okay. We need to get it rolling along here.
Yeah, I think if it's okay, we should move on, and yeah, please go ahead.
Concern is the protecting the life of the trees that are so close to your property line for your neighbors that will be negatively impact and at risk. So I want to make sure that we're okay with the tree report, and that we don't really need, maybe we need to have an updated one that is more accurate.
I have a question for staff. The neighbor provided their own measurement of the trees. Is it backed by an arborist, or I wondered how is it measured? Because I don't know who to believe. One is a registered arborist, maybe done a year or two ago, and one is by a neighbor. What is the protocol here, staff?
Vice Chair, the information was submitted to staff this afternoon at approximately 3 p.m. by the neighbor. Staff did not get a chance to get in touch with this neighbor and inquire as to how the measurement was done and at what point. Being that the arborist report is written by a certified arborist. However, staff does recognize that this report may be outdated in terms of reflecting the current condition of those trees on the property.
When is that report done by the certified arborist?
The arborist update is like report by like September 14th, and he sent me the email to Eva in September 14th this year to update the location of the, I believe like Eva sent me an email regarding have some like issue with the trees report, like Eva has some question. That's why I send the email to my arborist, and his name is called Javier. And I sent back with all the information Eva need. So it's done by September 14th this year. So I'm not sure like where is my neighbor get the tree report, and why is this seem like it's pulling up for the like tree problems from the arbors. I believe the arbor is done right, and there's nothing wrong for the arbors, and everything is accurate. So everything is updated.
And I have a second question for Eva. Now that Ron Servant is gone, our city arborist, but in terms of specimen trees, I mean, like the big trees and one, except oak is different. Is it our city ordinance that for these mature trees, if one needs to be removed, then 2 36-inch box specimen trees need to be put in the property? Can the staff confirm that?
I'm not able to confirm that for you at the moment because I don't have the tree matrix in front of me. I apologize. But I can assure you that when a mature tree or a tree that the city deem within the required height and diameter of the tree trunk that needs to be removed, there is a tree removal process, in which case our city's urban forester, whom is the new replacement person for Ron Servant, will review the application and impose replacement tree based on that matrix that we
And
have.
has that process been in place, or that process could be a condition?
That process that I just shared with you has been in place. However, if the committee feel that the committee can certainly impose a condition that this project be subject to the tree removal process. But you can certainly condition that the required replacement tree would be in addition to all the trees that is shown on the landscape plans.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from committee members to the applicant? Okay, seeing none, we will now open it up to public comment. Could we do we have members of the public here to speak for, against, or about the project?
Yes.
Please go ahead. If you can try to make your comments concise and to the point, that would be very helpful at this late hour.
Going to try.
Thank
My
you.
name is Thomas Ott. I live at 1705 West Haven Road, where I've lived since 1986 with my wife. We have a concern which we've addressed in a letter to the committee for the prior hearing, which we didn't regenerate for this hearing. We're concerned about the neighborhood character. We've been appearing in front of the committee since 2015. That's DRC 14-66, where the applicant had a really huge remodel of the house that was denied. Then came back in April of 2018 with DRC 17-38, a slightly lesser attempt at it. Now we're appearing before the committee our fifth time around, I think. I think when they killed the big avocado tree in the backyard, there were two of them when they moved in around 2015, and they killed them by watering, and there was a drought period. And anyway, we don't want to just repeat what I had in the letter, but I don't have the pagination for your packet, but it's only a 1.5 page letter. We got to look at the most recent building plan on Monday, and we feel that we haven't had enough time to really digest it. But it still looks like too much mass for our neighborhood and on that lot. Now, my wife Maria has some things to say about landscaping and so forth.
Okay, please go ahead.
I would just add that this has always been a beautiful home. It was more beautiful when it had the trees that have been allowed to die. And at the very first presentation of the request to do the major overhaul on this house, the plan that was presented to the design review committee didn't even show the avocado trees in the back. They were not on the plan. And the architect said, there are no avocado trees. Well, they were there, very large, very beautiful, and obstructed all of the horrible wiring that we are now looking at because of their removal. It's completely changed the character of our yard. When we're out there, I feel like I'm, in an urban area where you're looking at, power poles and wires. I never saw that before when the trees were present. So it really undermines your sense of trust in this whole process because, you know, when that was first presented, those trees were not even showing, because there was a pool that was going to go in there. And so we watched during the drought, no other avocado tree in our area died, just the ones there, and they were very healthy. We had watched them all these years and loved those trees, and they obscured all of those wires. So that's what I would add.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public here to speak for, against, or about the project? Yes, please go ahead, Ms. Chang.
Hi, my name is, good evening, my name is Helen Chang. I lived for over 10 years at 1725 West Haven Road, which is a one-story house next door, immediately south of the applicant's property. I wrote a letter which was included in your September packet. I didn't have time to generate a new one. Since that hearing, the applicant has submitted a revised design. I would like to acknowledge the concessions there. This is the first time in a dozen or so DRC and Planning Commission hearings for this house that the design has come back with a reduction, and we really appreciate that. I do still have concerns about the compatibility of the design. This chart is updated with the latest numbers. It shows floor area ratios for all houses in the legal neighborhood. As you can see, although the new design is no longer the densest, it would now be the second densest in the legal neighborhood and still significantly denser when compared to its immediate neighbors to either side. Here you can see the applicant's house from my house. It's hard to see through the vegetation, so I've highlighted the outlines. This is the current house, and this is approximately the latest design. This two-story part is about 50% deeper than the existing house, so it still looks pretty big next to us. The residential design guidelines encourage economies of scale, advising to maximize floor area usage, combine uses of space, and eliminate unnecessary rooms. Organize rooms to eliminate hallways, simplify floor plans, use garages for vehicle storage, and eliminate unused household storage. The new design adds 621 square feet to the house, but only gets an addition of 1 bedroom and 3 bathrooms for a total of 4 bedrooms and 4.5 baths. 621 square feet for 1 bedroom and some bathrooms. Ideally, the additional bedroom could be added more efficiently so that the addition could be smaller and more compatible to its neighbors. It really is challenging to fit this much additional square footage in. I can't be sure that the current proposal doesn't still overshadow its direct neighbors. In this legal neighborhood, it happens to be on the very smallest lot and happens to be right next to the smallest house. I appreciate the sensitivity to reducing the additional massing right next to our house, but because these lots are only 60 feet wide, the additional massing on the other side isn't really that far from us. Here's an example of from the design review guidelines depicting the abrupt change in scale that the guidelines discourage. While the existing house does have a tall and wide facade compared with my adjacent house, the mass is mitigated by being shallow and completely hiding the garage behind the house. These details reduce its impact and leave more open space. The proposed project drops these details by adding a noticeable volume and moving the garage out of hiding. Since the last hearing, the garage has actually gotten deeper in dimension. In the neighborhood, the prevailing pattern of garages has wider but shallower garages. Although the garage doesn't require DRC approval, the increased depth since last time, and when compared to neighboring garages, as well as its proximity to my backyard and being taller than the adjacent rooms of my house, do bother me. In the arborist report, the garage and the house seem to be of an earlier design inconsistent with the other pages in the application. I wanted to make sure that the design being considered tonight is the one in the architectural drawings and not these ones. I had some concerns about the accuracy of the report. One of the oak trees drawn on the applicant's property, I believe is on my property, as shown in the applicant's own surveys and in their past DRC applications. Another concern is this tree protection fence is really close to the trees. It's like 2 feet away from the trunk. And I'm concerned that it won't protect the trees, the major roots of the trees. This tree protection fence also does not extend to protect a tree that's on my side of the fence. This ornamental tree, I would not like to move. Because this setback is 3 feet in this drawing, then this fence actually goes through the garage, and I'm not sure why. And then the arborist, and then this tree is in the front yard of my house. While it's not quite as close to the property line, it's still not that far away because it's quite a large tree. And because the workers would have to go through this area a lot, I would want some protection for this tree from the north side. And then the arborist report seems to underestimate the sizes of all the trees along the south property line. So I don't know how accurate it is about the rest of the trees. Vice Chair Wong asked about where I got the measurements. I just measured it with a tape. And while these differences are sometimes only a few inches, a real tree of these smaller sizes compared with the actual trees would be only half the size. So along with the systematic elimination of 5 or 6 mature trees during the last few years, it almost seems a concerted effort to create a blank slate for development. In conclusion, we still have concerns about the garage size and shape, the tree protection, and the massing compatibility. We really do appreciate that there finally has been a real effort to make noticeable compromises. Don't know if they're enough to make it compatible with the neighborhood. Thanks for you all for staying up so late and for having looked so carefully.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public here to speak for, against, or about the project? Okay, seeing none, we will now close the public hearing and move on to committee member discussion. Committee member Chang.
Thank you. I guess we spent enough time on this project over the years trying to help the owner to get some kind of relief on the footage. One of the suggestions I made last time was that even if we don't do anything at this point in time, you drive in that street, that house looks imposing. It's big enough, tall enough, and it's bare enough in the front that there's not enough relief in the front that looks like a huge house. But in reality, it's not. If you look at the footage, it's not the outside bigger than what it really is inside. So my suggestion was to ask them to take seriously and look at the landscaping part, and then maybe talk to a true landscape architect to understand the front yard, understand what does it take to get some sizable planting in the front to screen the building from the east side, from the front elevation. You can look at the neighbors to the south and to the north and all along the street. Almost every project has some kind of landscaping to relieve the building, except this particular one. So for them to try to get the addition, which I think it's within reason because of it's still within the allowable footage, and I'm glad that they cut it back, and I'm glad they cut it lower. But the site planning itself, it's a challenge. Is that the best place for the garage? I don't think so. I think they can do better than that. Is that the final landscape plan that we're gonna see, which is just move the garage and leave it, and whatever tree they need to, that is in the report things there, just remove them and call it done? I don't think so. I think they need to do a lot more work to take seriously about the neighbors' concern on the avocado trees that was gone one time, and have a qualified landscape architect to look at those, talk to the neighbor, and find a way to plant the trees to recapture those canopies. I think having a tree of 15 gallons is a joke. It just doesn't work. It would never get to the point that the neighbor would accept. If you look at the kind of canopy they are there now, these are 30, 40 foot tall trees. And even looking at the rendering, that's why I asked about the size of those trees. If they only like 15, 16 foot tall, when they are in a 15-gallon tree, it doesn't do anything. So I think there's more work. I can work with the footage, but the landscaping is by far way, it's still gonna need a lot of work. And I would see them work with the neighbor to the south on the garage location. I want to see privacy planting on the side, so that the neighbors don't look directly into the building and protect both sides. And I want to see some canopy trees. That's where I stand right now. I will support a continuance when the landscape plan is ready.
Okay, thank you. Committee member, Vice Chair Wong.
Thank you. It has been a long ordeal, and it's always tough to hear concerns from the neighbors not being fulfilled, whereas the owner is trying to do their very best. But I see some good understanding in between, whereas the immediate neighbor in the south seems to appreciate the effort made, but there's still some remaining concerns. I have some factors to share with the team. I have encountered another neighbor has a huge avocado tree that actually withered over the drought years. And I actually talked to Dr. Folsom of Huntington Library, and he said there's actually common in this area. Mature trees actually would not need much water because the roots are so deep, but the drought was just too horrible. So I think we are not here to play judges, and we don't know enough, but a agreeable landscape area in the front is what is being proposed right now. How much at the back and how much is it really a legitimate demand from the neighbors? I am open, but I think adequate screening is important. I would agree that the landscape plan can be buttoned up, and I certainly hope that a well thought out landscape plan both in the front and at the back could really help the immediate neighbors to understand the genuine effort and can just live with together amicably, because good neighbors are very important. That's also part of the good access. I brought up the earlier point where Ron Servant and I had conversation in the past is the tree replacement plan is important. And I hope that with that in place, endorsed by the city, that can be shared with the neighbors, that can also make sure the neighbor can see the merit of the proposal. And of course, the tree protection plan, fencing plan are all natural. So I can see the good effort put in, but I agree that a little bit more can be put in to really make sure it is A-okay for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee member McKay.
Thank you. I'll keep it very brief considering the time. I am very sensitive to the questions that have been raised by Mr. and Mrs. Ott and Ms. Chang. And I still have concerns that the percentage of square footage versus the square footage of the lot is oversized. The additional footprint of this proposed addition, mass volume and scale vis-a-vis the legal neighborhood, I still don't think it's compatible with respect to the landscape architect or landscape architecture proposal. Is it current? Is it accurate? Those questions remain. So I could support a continuance at best. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee member Lacon.
Yes, I agree with my committee members. I too find the landscaping one of the areas that I would need more detail, specifically about the protection of the trees to the south of you, all along your property line, and in a landscaping plan. I think that you need to provide or contribute to the park-like feel that your neighbors had experienced all these years to help screen the telephone, the lines and the poles. I believe it's your house that when you move your garage, you're gonna see a telephone pole. I could be wrong, but that's my memory, is that you have it right there smack dab in the back of your yard. It's gonna be center, and that is gonna be very unattractive and undesirable to anybody who looks at your property in the future to purchase, because that's one of the things that when you go look at a house to buy, you say, oh, it has a telephone pole. And I think, sorry, maybe I shouldn't be so open, but it's very late. But I think that that is something that you really want to try to conceal. So, and for your neighbors' properties as well. And because your properties are so narrow, like I said before, everybody kind of has to contribute. And you're lucky that you have such a deep property that enables the space to do something like that. And that is something that I would like to see added. And again, I'm concerned about those oak trees on your neighbor's property to the south, and any kind of construction and digging is going to compromise those trees. That house to your left was built in, I think, 1932. And I like to look at houses a lot, and I know that their house was designed by this person. His name is Walter Steyer, and this house is from 1937, and this is in San Marino also, and it's a cover of Sunset Magazine, 1939, and it describes the build of the house, and it describes the quality of the home, and it just, but what I'm trying to get to is that it describes the environment pertaining to the trees and how it works with the tree overhang to work together, and it's a really beautiful total package. And I think that that house next door to your property is something that whole side yard, the way it's set, is unusual to most of the houses here, but it's very unique, and it provides, it's all part of that house, and you have to be really very careful not to damage those trees to yourself in your construction. The massing of the house, I think, is a little big, but I appreciate that it's gone down so much, and I think it looks better than in previous versions that I had seen. So I think that I think I could support the additions, but I need to see the rest of the property landscaping and the tree protection plan updated. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm going to skip the alternates because it is so late, and I will also try to be
And I'm
very
sorry I'm
brief.
going so late, but I really want the neighbors to try to work this out in that neighborhood. It's very upsetting to see people that have been having to be so stressed about this for so many years. I live in a property that I'm very close to my neighbors as well, and it's very stressful. And it's not fair on everybody's part, but you really need to work it out because you're all going to be living very close together. And it's a very personal situation, and you know all about each other. So it's something you really need to work out because you can't live like this. Okay. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yes. So I agree with what everybody said. I personally would like to, as far as the massing goes, and that was expressed in terms of square footage, I believe that when the committee members and perhaps even the neighbors were talking about square footage, they were using that as kind of an indicator of massing. And it is my opinion that the massing, while still on the high side, I believe that it is reasonable for the lot. And I also think that the way the massing is situated right now, it is, I could approve it. I do believe that there are some serious, let's say, holes to be, buttoned up, as my vice chair said, that the landscape plan needs to be buttoned up. It needs to be, I would very much encourage the applicant to have a conversation with your neighbors. I'm sure you have had conversations before, and I'm guessing that they were difficult. I would also encourage the neighbors to try to be gracious and try to focus on what you can live with. What is your biggest objection? How would you like to express that? How would you, put yourself in their shoes? They want to improve their property. They don't want to make their neighbors miserable. Put yourself in their shoes and try to be reasonable with your requests. Not to say that anybody hasn't been unreasonable. I'm just trying to be clear that everyone should be working with each other. I understand that this is a contentious issue, but maybe this will put you all on the road to more peace with your neighbors, which is very desirable, obviously. I would like I would like to suggest that a landscape architect needs to be involved, and the needs to have a clear understanding of our tree preservation ordinance, and that both the front yard and the backyard will reflect some of the issues that have been brought up. I would also like clarification or reiteration, whatever is appropriate, as far as the validity of the tree, the tree report that was submitted. That is kind of contested. So although I'm very disappointed that we don't have a project to approve tonight, and I'm actually very disappointed that we are not approving this project tonight. I don't think that you're going to get, I don't want to say that. I would be concerned if I were the applicant that you may not get another chance the next time. So I really encourage you to get it right. And that's going to mean, you know, coming into this to the next meeting with full clarity, and everybody understands exactly, you know, there's no guessing at, you know, what kind of gallons or what kind of boxes or what's the appropriate replacement. Everybody has to know that, so what they're doing. So without any further ado, I would like to, I will ask for motions.
Let me go ahead and give it a try then. I move to continue design review case number DRC 19-15 to the January 6th date. I hope the owner took note on all the deliberation, that when they come back, a fully developed landscape plan, both on hardscape, softscape, and the size of the trees, the type, and the canopy, and the height to be all there. So preferably you can have that developed and talk to your neighbors, and the placement of the trees, look at it from the neighbor's side so that we can see if that's going to enhance their vision and the view. So that's my motion.
I believe that we have Krista seconding that. Okay, excuse me, Committee Member Lacon. Okay, could we have a roll call?
Sure. Committee Member Lacon,
Yes.
Committee Member McKay,
Yes.
Committee Member Chang,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wong,
Yes.
and Chair Batnich.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. At this point, I just want to ask Ms. Choi, you know, it's 11:19. I don't think any of us expected to go this late, although we had an extremely long agenda. I'm assuming that we are proceeding and trying to finish these items, or is there any other option? I just want to ask you what we should do. Obviously, we need to give everybody their fair shake, and we need to address these as appropriate. But I feel terrible that applicants have been waiting perhaps for hours. I apologize to the applicants or neighbors who have been waiting all this time. We try to give as much attention as each item merits, and we did. I don't think any of us intended it for to be here at 11:20.
Chair, this is a question that I actually did not anticipate. However, the only experience I have is that the Planning Commission has a standing policy that they do not start any new item past 11 p.m. If the chair has the ability to postpone the last item, I believe may involve a lengthy discussion to the next meeting. And what it means is that we can certainly call a meeting for the third week of this month. And we will keep maybe 2 or 3 items on the agenda.
That's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, is that correct?
It would be the week before Thanksgiving, the Wednesday.
It would be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So
And it would be only that one item, the last item on the agenda, which is the Rosalind Road.
Correct.
Correct.
Direct to
Well,
that.
Virginia Road. We have 2 items left.
two.
Eva,
Yes,
just
we have
one,
2 items left, but I believe if I understood Ms. Choi, she is, as I am, sort of wondering if we might be able to move through the next agenda item with without a great deal of time, whereas the Roslyn Road item, because of its complexity, may take longer. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions from committee members. Maybe if it's okay, Ms. Troy, maybe I'll just ask the committee members very briefly if they can give their input. Is it possible to delay both of these to the next, is it possible to have another meeting where we only address these 2 agenda items in 2 weeks?
Yes, that would be the direction that you give to staff. But I do want to make sure that with Marlon, that we do have enough time for the noticing, which is 10 days. Marlon, can you confirm that we can still do that? Today is the 4th. So the next meeting will be 2 weeks from now. That's
the 18th.
18th, 4th,
That was,
18th, tomorrow, the 5th. We can do that.
Yeah, I was hoping to clarify that with you as well. I believe the notices, if they go out this Friday, would be sufficient 10-day notice.
For 10 days,
Okay.
yes. Okay.
And that's possible to send them out on Friday?
Yes, that will be Friday, yes.
Okay, with that, I you know, and again, I don't think anybody anticipated that we would still be here right now. I would like to suggest that we adjourn this meeting until what did we say, Wednesday?
November 18th.
November 18th. And on that date, we would only have these 2 agenda items. And therefore, it would be my hope that we would be here, we would have that meeting for no more than 1 hour. I mean, as appropriate, of course. Yes, committee member Rick Chow.
Okay, I just throw this out as a suggestion. Of course, it's up to your decision. You know, I think a little bit kind of in fairness to the applicant who have been waiting for hours, and maybe I'll just push forward and get it done, just as an idea. I mean, personally, I'm fine with it, but of course, I respect everybody's opinion, especially up to the chair.
I hear you. I've been struggling with that as we've been discussing it. I don't know. How do the other members feel?
Well, let me maybe I'll just share my quick feeling. The next item on the Virginia Road, I think the house is almost getting to the point that they probably need to plan that gate pretty quick, and that should be a quick item. I don't know how the other members feel. If it's something that we can take the next 5 minutes to get it done, at least we can get that finished, and then we can just leave the Roslyn Road item for next time. I hate to have them sit from 7 to 11:30 and just tell them that we can't make. That's just my.
Yeah, and are there any other conflicts in the schedule? Like, I know we have a planned DRC meeting with city council coming up soon, and I think the planning commission may have some. I'm just worried about conflicts on that date. And if there is a conflict, then we would be further inconveniencing the applicant, which I'm a little bit worried about.
Chair, I apologize. It just occurred to me that the third Wednesday of this month is actually a city council meeting, I believe. That may not be available. I should have checked with the city clerk's office, but we did not plan on having a meeting that night. So if we can we? I think we would be able to get through the next item in 15 minutes. The Roslyn item, it may take a little bit more discussion, but I think if committee member are concise with their comment and actually simply concur with prior committees concerns, then we can potentially get through it fairly quickly before midnight.
Through both items?
Yes, because we would not be able to bring the item back for the third Wednesday of the month. Because next Wednesday is Veterans Day. And my understanding is that they have to reschedule the city council meeting. I didn't get a chance to check with the city clerk's office if that meeting was rescheduled to Thursday or the following Wednesday, which would be the same day that we are proposing to have the next DRC meeting. So that will be an issue.
You know, this is a lesser of two evils situation, I guess. I guess we will proceed. From what I understand, there's really no other viable option.
We can call a special meeting on a Thursday if all of the members are available.
Okay.
The 19th.
I'm not going anywhere, but
It's okay with me, so that's two committee members.
Are you saying the 19th?
For noticing purposes, it would have to be the 19th. Yeah.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
We have a message from Gretchen Shepherd to everyone. City council will be on the 8th. Okay, you've seen that.
All right. So that is out of our option. The only option is to call a special meeting on the Thursday, November 19th.
Okay, I would like that option as long as we know that we would have a quorum. That is what I would prefer to do at this point. I don't think that Roslyn Road is going to be quick, and I think my gut tells me that we will be rushing it in a way that is not really giving it the attention that it might deserve. So I would propose that if I know that we have a quorum, I would propose that we do that. And
I'll be there.
and we have a message, we will have our annual joint meeting at 4:30 p.m., maybe that same day. Is that correct? I actually didn't know about that. I knew it was coming up, I didn't know when. Do we have that scheduled?
I'm not sure. Can you clarify, Chair, what you're referring to?
Apparently we have a message from city council member Gretchen Shepherd Romy that we will have our annual joint meeting at 4:30 p.m. with you all on DRC prior to our November 18th meeting. Okay, that's for November 18th. And it is on the city's monthly calendar. That's probably where I saw it. So the point is that we, you should all have been notified. Okay. The point is that we will all be together discussing DRC for our annual meeting on November 18th. So is the suggestion that we might have these items immediately after?
Or let's just put it on the 19th to make it simple.
Okay, let's do it on the 19th to make it simple. I like that. And I just want to say that moving forward, I will be addressing the time issue with staff so that we don't have this again, because I believe that in the 2 years I've been on this, I've never had this happen before, and I apologize that it has gotten this late. Ms. Choi, is that okay to adjourn this meeting until November 19th?
Correct. And just please note that you're adjourning the meeting to a special meeting on November 19th.
Okay, so I move that we adjourn this meeting until a special meeting that will be held on November 19th. Okay, we have a second. Could we have roll call?
Sure. Committee Member Lakon?
Yes.
Committee Member McKay?
Yes.
Committee Member Chang?
Yes.
Vice Chair Wong?
Yes.
And Chair Batnich?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. So I now adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much for everyone,
Thank you to
and thank
everybody.
you for everyone's patience. I really, especially the applicants. Thank you very much.